Good morning, traders. Are you guys ready for a Halloween stream? All right, let's get it started. Of course, you guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. I'm excited. Going to have a great show for you guys today. And we got some big movers. AMIX already lifted off, and it's trying to reload here. I actually had it for a second there. Made a slight order execution mistake that I'll talk about it here. I'm always full of disclosure. Sold it for a profit there, but on accident. If you can believe that one, right? Sold it for a profit on accident. But hey, we'll see what happens there. AMIX, a whole bunch of stocks moving. Peloton with a new CEO. Meta's earnings, of course. Microsoft. We got a lot to talk about here today. You know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Let's just go straight to the show. Then we'll get into the sunrise report. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the market. We'll take a look at some of the movers. There's a lot going on right now. Let's get it started.
Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
All right, team. You guys know where you're at, and we'll get it started here. You guys, it's a Halloween stream today, so got to have the sounds right? That's what it's all about here out there, guys. So, hey, be careful out there. We'll see what happens today. Dun, 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 dun. Will we end up in the green? Guys, great green day yesterday. Main account. Awesome trade on the VIX, right? You guys saw me trade in and out of the trade in the early part of the day. Still held one into the end of the day. Had a big winner on that, $800 win on that. So not bad. Right now, the main account that we opened up just this week at 1,700. So, hey, battling and doing well. Right now, I'm looking at that AMIX. I just had it at 14, and I thought I had a great buy. It went up there to 15. I actually sold it there. It's back down to 1330s. What a crazy spike that was, all the way up there towards 2140s, 22s almost. And this morning, making some money in Peloton. So let's get to the action. Of course, you know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. It's a little bit of some Halloween trading today. Let's get to the action. Let's keep looking at what's going on in the market and what we can find. All right, let's get it started. Let's share the screen here. Just give me 2 seconds as I share my screen, give you guys access to it all like I always do. So we'll take a look here, but definitely not a bad way to start off the day today, guys. I'll show you guys, hey, main account looking good here as we keep pushing to the next level. So let's take a look here as we have another step up there. And so good start of the day again here. Yesterday, I started with a little bit of a loss, but hey, today, a nice little win. And I think that's the important part, right? Trying to battle there and trying to find the ways to go ahead and find success. Not a bad little trade this morning on Peloton. I even had to wait for a second there, making sure that I was over 1 minute into the position. As you guys know, we have some rules that you got to follow, and not a bad trade there at all. Really good trade on Peloton this morning. 355, looking good here. So we'll see what happens right now. Not looking too bad at the time being right now. We'll see. 40.25 on AMX as it starts to come back. We'll see if this one can make another push. I was watching it here, and I saw a couple of names getting a quick spike. And the market is moving all around today, guys, so we got to take a look to see what happens today. It looks like it wants to fade off today, but honestly, there's not many times, team, that I get to a point where I'm just like, I don't know what to like focus on, right? What to like kind of get after. And I think that's the important thing here, right? So we'll see what happens, guys. Looks like my name's there at the bottom there. All right, well, I'll fix that up in a second. I got no problem. Got to go ahead and maybe change that up there. Oh, what is this? Default camera. Some weird things here. some cool things to play with, like always. We'll take a look at the action out there. What are you guys taking a look at this morning? I will let you guys know I am a little bit tired, as it was a crazy night for me, guys. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. Got to stay in the battle. We'll see what we can do. Can you already enter into trades on the day trading account on TTP? I thought markets opened in 45 minutes. Yes, markets, the open market, the intraday action starts at 9:30. But with Trade the Pool, you get access to what's called pre-market trading, right? And the markets trade in the pre-market, and looking like we're moving closer and closer towards 24-hour markets. But for right now, you got markets opening up in the morning as early as 4 a.m., right? So El Saint, if you don't know that, hey, take a look into that, right? You can definitely take a look to kind of learn a little bit more about that. It's actually in our facts and answers and questions on our website. So make sure that you understand the platform, that you're looking into things and understanding exactly how you're going to go about trading, right? That's why I traded this morning. That's why I was able to get Peloton, right? I mean, it's 1,000 shares in the morning and making a cool 389 just to start the day, right? Just to start the day, I'm already in a nice cushion. This gives me a nice push. There is not going to be a limited edition for the swing. At least for right now, Eli, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer on that, yes or no. Who knows, right? We definitely don't know. We don't have an answer just yet. So I'd keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens there. Definitely smash a like. Victor, what's going on? It's good to see you guys. Isn't pre-market lower leverage? For example, if you have a 20K account, you can only get 2K account in the pre-market. Yes, but remember, I have the extra buying power account, so I still have more than enough money to go ahead and get even Peloton at that 742, right? It's only a $7 stock. So how much did I use, right? I used about like $7,000. So I have like 16, right, on the extra buying power that I can use in the pre-market. But that's still more than enough to make money, guys. If I can make $355 on it, that's more than I need to make. And actually, I actually go bigger, right? I had the buying power to maybe take twice that size. But hey, I'll take it. I'll take the 355. It was a nice little spike. I'll show you guys that trade right now. Let's take a look at it here. Peloton, really good move. And I almost got back in it, guys. I thought it was maybe going to 8, and it would have been a nice ride. So I looked to get back into this, and I didn't play it for the big ride up there to the 850s. And that's where I'm going to look back and be like, hindsight 2020. Yeah, Mitch, you should have gone after it. I even had orders ready to go at the 720 recovery here. And I'll show you guys it right now on the 1 minute. I'm going to scroll back so that you guys can see the action that I was watching. So this is what I saw, right? I see a Peloton jumping first. I see the news about, of course, the new CEO. I see an undercut of 690, and it goes all the way to 670s. This scared me, this candle right here. And I was like, well, if it can just hold 7 on the pullback, maybe I can risk off this 690 and take the shot. So right there, as it starts to hold 7 for a little bit and it recovers 7, I take the shot there. 706 entry, 1,000 shares. As soon as it starts to go, I'm looking for a pop into this level, the 750, 740 area. And I'm just waiting for the 1 minute to go by. Boom, sold it at the 740s. Then this starts to come back to 710s. It was like, okay, then not a bad level to maybe get back into the trade. Then it starts going sideways here. Where it really looked good is where it started to get above the 730s. It pulled back to the 720s, and we got this volume spike. And it felt to me like this was a big buyer. But I was looking to see if it tested 710s. By the time it did, it got through this like little 4-minute sideways trend here. It's right here was my opportunity. It was at 725 on the offer. I could have gone after it, taken that buy again, 1,000 shares, risked off the 715s, risked like $100 of the 355 that I made. That's what I was thinking. I had the hand on the trigger. I hesitated for a second. It was at 730s. And at that point, I didn't want to take the shot. 740s came and boom. Then you really got the motion. And this got it all the way up there towards 850. So big breakout there in Peloton. And it was on the playbook, guys. I will let you guys know this is part of my playbook today. Playbook is going to be a little bit weird because today I'm really looking at the market in both ways. And I'll be watching for Soxel right out the gates, but also taking a look at Peloton today. And another one that I'll be watching to see if it can recover today is Apple, of course. There's a lot to take a look at in the market today. We'll see what happens. Peloton recovering. New CEO has looked like a Ford executive coming in, and this executive had done a lot of subscriptions for Ford. So positive mentality there. Look at the pullback right now to 760s, right back there to 8. So Peloton with a good trade today. Definitely should have got back in there on that 725. Looking back at it, I mean, we could have made another $1,000 in the pre-market. So, hey, that's just perspective, right? And I wanted to show you guys that because you do have the buying power. You do have the opportunity here with Trade the Pool. And so El Saint, like this right here, imagine I could have made another $1,000, right? So could have made like 300, 400, then bought it right back, risked about half of that to make another $1,000. So that's what I like to do, guys. And that's another thing that I've been working on, right? The right risk to reward with the big sizing. It's harder because a lot of the times you're going to lose. And I think that's one thing to think about. And losing to me is like kind of break even to is still lose. It's still a loss. But what I've noticed is that if I can keep the losses small and keep playing the way I'm doing, when I win big, like 800, 600 this week, $1,000 this week. Those types of wins are what push me forward, right? And so I have to be able to do what? Manage the losses, keep them small, and keep trying to take those big trades, right? And with the bigger trades, it's all about playing in and out of the trade, being able to get out of the trade, being able to get back into the trade. That's where it gets very difficult. A lot of traders struggle with this mentality because they're already invested mentally once they get into the trade. And now to get out of the trade, they feel like they're losing. The truth is, yes, you're losing, but losing is not a bad thing. Losing is part of trading, and it's just part of the game. And you're going to lose. You're going to lose. And I'll say it again. You're going to lose. So it's about losing the right way and then getting ready to win and win the right way, stepping up to the plate when we have to. The best day traders, I can tell you right now, they know how to hit the brake pedal and know how to hit the gas pedal. That's where most traders get it twisted. They can hit the brake pedal maybe, but don't know how to hit the gas pedal. Then there's the traders that just know gas pedal, gas, and they don't know how to slow down. So those are the things that we need to be thinking about. I struggle with timing and end up chasing, over letting the trade come to me, right? And so one of the things that I would say is if you struggle with timing and you're chasing trades, right? I think what needs to happen here is finding a size that you don't struggle to get in. Where if, let's say it's even 50 shares, if that's what it takes for you to start executing the way that you want to, Obi-Wan, then maybe that's what you need to do, right? Because what it is that the sizing puts a lot of risk mentality in your mindset, and it's causing what's called loss aversion. And so you don't want to be at a point where you can't lose. And that's another thing, right? And so the timing, and you struggle with that timing because do I get in now? Oh, but I could lose. I could lose. Well, the mentality really needs to be, this is where my entry needs to be based on my system. And then we'll see if we add or subtract, or if I'm going to go ahead and just cut out the risk. And I think this is important because if you're saying you're chasing, what's going to happen a lot of the times is if by the time you finally do get in, you get that first instant pullback. That will tell you something that, yes, I need to be getting in a little bit earlier, letting the stock rip up. And then when it comes back to me, I have the decision of adding or getting out of the trade, right? And so we'll see what happens there. Obi-Wan, there's no one answer, but I will say that, hey, just keep pushing, trying to find the right ways. Timing is something that everybody struggles with in trading because that's what it's all about. It's about making a decision in a moment's time and then actually executing on that and then protecting that and taking money when it's offered to us, right? That's what we're doing as traders. And the number one thing, like always, the only thing that we need to do as a trader is what? Is protect ourselves and admit when we're wrong on a position. So we take the hit and come right back in. All right, let's go ahead. Yesterday was very hard. I lost all day. Was very hard. I traded all day, only down $25. Yeah. Hey, that's what sometimes break even is so important. Like a break even day, maybe you're going back and forth. You're winning a little bit. You're losing a little bit. You're winning a little. You're winning. You're losing. You're winning. You're losing. And then on the last trade, you lose and you're down just slightly, or maybe right near your break even, or maybe you won on the last trade and you're back to that break even. Sometimes there's going to be days where it's just a neutral day. Get out, get out, get out before they take the money from you. And then you're looking back on, hey, I wasn't executing well. I wasn't seeing my system really play out. And I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to make money. Trying to make money is an easy recipe to giving up money. So let's keep pushing, traders. It's not easy, and I'm not trying to make it sound like it is. I'm going to keep showing you guys that with a processed approach, we can find success. And just like myself, I'm going to battle with you guys. I'm battling to go ahead and try to get that funded account myself. 1,700 for the week is really not bad at all. So you need to take a look into my statistics, and I think they'll really be impressive, because part of the impressive part will probably be how low my percentage of accuracy has been, yet still finding the green. And I think that's so important, team. So, hey, try to go keep getting after it, team. I'm going to look into my statistics right now. I'm trying to pull them up. You guys can always do this with your account just right at the top. Go into those account statistics and take a look to see what you got here. We'll see when it pulls it up. It's curing the data right now. I'll let you guys know once it pulls it up. There it is. There it is. All right, guys. So here you guys see it. Right? And the truth is that this is exactly how it goes sometimes, right? Was down about starting capital about three. Oh, did I trade? Hold on. Let me expand this a little bit further, making sure I include all the data on the account. I just want to make sure I show you guys the right things. And I always show you guys things, and that's the important thing. Like my limited account, guys. And we've been talking about the limited account. I think it's the best account right now that's out there that we're offering. And I think that, you know, hey, I'm not doing as great as I want to be doing on that one. And today might be the day where that one gets let go. But I'm probably going to get another one, guys, because they're so cheap that I think that the truth is, with a 50% availability towards that profit target of $13.50 and 900 in risk, well, I think this is definitely an account that I can get after again. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to get a new one. Probably going to go ahead and let that one go right now. It isn't looking that great. So, hey, I'm only, I think, $50 away from getting stopped out on that account. So it's not all great, right? That one, I tried to start doing some more penny stocks and trying to trade into those names. I'm going to continue doing that and try to trade those on that account. So, hey, stick around, guys. I'll keep doing that. And I'm going to do a lot more of those pre-market kind of trades with that account, right? So I'll start kind of still taking some opportunities with the main account, but more into higher quality names. Don't really necessarily want to be in kind of more of the penny names, looking to see what I can find in the market. All right, Peloton trying to reload on 8. We'll see what happens on that one. I'll be watching out the gates to see if we can get a pullback to like 760. And then we'll see what happens there in Peloton. SPY just hanging on by a thread right now. I'm wondering, will we get some more continued downside? The sectors overall is definitely something we need to talk about. It isn't looking good, and we'll take a look at some of that action. Almost 9 a.m. We'll start going through some of these earnings reports. We'll take a look at the action out there, what happened last night. There's a lot to talk about, and I'd love to hear in the chat conversation. A lot of traders talking about different management situations and things like that. That's what it's all about. How we doing out there, turd? It's good to see you, my friend. Kevin, good morning. And good morning to everyone out there. It's good to see you. If you're new to the show for any reason, say hello and hit that like button. Let's get some more traders in here. All right. All of my pre-markets go straight to working orders and never execute. Well, part of that might be that are you using limit orders? That's one thing, right? It needs to be limit orders, not market orders. If you're using a market order, it will not trigger at all. So that's another thing to know. And so I think that you need to maybe look in, are you doing the correct orders, Obi-Wan? Because mine will fill and they'll fill instantly, man. I'll tell you that. If I throw it up on the offer and I'm buying it, yeah, it's got to fill me. I'll show you guys if you want. Obi-Wan, let me know. Let me know if you're still struggling with that. I can show you it right on my screen if you want. All right, let's take a look at what else is trading out there. SMCI down 5%, and it doesn't look good for SMCI, guys. I would stay away with that with a 10-foot pole, but of course, you guys do what you guys want to do. Yesterday, we had a bunch of traders looking to try to trade this back to the upside. It didn't do bad moves, but it's already lower than that, and it looks like it's just atrocious, guys. I don't know if SMCI will even be around by 2025. It could already be gone. I don't trust this stock one bit, and it's going to be a little bit scary. If you feel this stock is coming back, it's definitely buying a lottery now. If you think it's coming back, it's a lottery ticket. We'll see what happens with this. Definitely they did a split, but it was in the wrong time, man. It was after they got destroyed. If they would have done the split back when, this stock was rocking and rolling at like 100, I think the stock would have been a lot higher, but now it just looks atrocious. And with the news that's coming out, it doesn't look good. I think it eventually gets delisted. Correct. I think there's going to be some kind of maybe even the problem with this stock, right? And let's just be honest. There could be what's called a T2 halt, right? Where the stock halts and doesn't reopen because of news. And what would that be? That would be the SEC doing an investigation inside, maybe doing an audit, something like that. And I think that that's too much risk for any one trader to have, right? Like always, what is their number one job is not to get hurt, right? Not to get wrecked. That's always going to be our number one job. Like that's what we got to come in no matter what every single day do, right? We're not going to be winning every day, but we're not going to get wrecked. That's just straight up. And you got to be able to hold yourself to that. That's the first thing a trader goes through is understanding that I don't need to be playing home runs and I don't want to get destroyed and just ruin accounts in one day. That's just not the way to trade. So we'll see what happens here. SMCI, definitely something to look at. If you get the good news, then I think you can go and trading it, right? Because at that point, it's a turnaround story. Right now, it's a knife and you're playing with it. Don't get cut because it easily can just fall on the wrong side. And next thing you know, you're calling me with a knife in your hand. No. Don't call me. I'm not going to help you. All right, guys, let's keep taking a look. Let's see what else is out there. Please show us. I'm confused as well as I place the market order. And it's also on working, but I can't see the details of the unrealized P&L. Yes, market orders do not work in pre-market. In pre-market, the only thing that works, that is allowed, is limit orders. So you must change your order type to limit if you want an order to go through. I'm going to show you guys here. I don't have a working order window, but I'll show you it. I'll just switch over here. All right, guys. So I did want to show you guys my statistics here really quickly. Let's go through that. As you guys can see here on this main account, guys, I essentially have only been 37% accurate. Yes, that is correct. 37% accurate. Yet, what? Yet I'm in the green, guys. I'm deep into the green. And I think that that's the important thing. Now, there is some losses here that are a little bit too much. This was the big loss, right? That was on the VIX. That was $1,000. Not what we're going to be doing anymore. We're going to be trying to keep that smaller. If that wasn't there, this would be a lot higher, right? And I think that that's the important thing. Finding our way to go ahead and find success. On shorts, it looks like I'm doing a little worse than on longs. So that tells me more and more. Look for those longs, right? Try to play that long side. And I think what's important is always the average win and the average loss. The average win right now is 377. The average loss is 152. So what is that telling me? That I'm at least staying towards more like a 2-to-1 profit target. And you can see here at the top, the profit factor is so important. 2.53 is something definitely to notice there. So I can look here in my win and loss ratio about 7.74. So not doing too bad there. We'll see what happens. Pretty interesting perspective there. on the statistics. And it just goes to show you guys that you don't need to be winning and stressing about that. Just keep in mind the profit and loss ratio. That's going to really help you guys. All right, let's go to the, you guys wanted to see an order here. So I'm going to close this, bring this screen down here just for a second. And I'm going to bring up my other screen for just a second for you guys. Definitely smash it up out there, guys. I'll show you guys it right on the screen. I feel like it's important to show you guys it right on the platform. So let's just do it here. Just give me 1 second here. I'll open it up. All right, guys. So here you see on my screen here, you see Peloton, right? So if I wanted to buy Peloton, I'm going to put in here just for order purposes, right? 100 shares, and I'm trying to get in. The key here is the order type. If I put in a stop or a market, because a stop is a market order, it will not work. It won't fill, right? Like I'll show you it, right? Like this is we're at 903, right? 100 shares. If I put it in place an order, yes, the order is there. It's working, but it's not going to fill because it's a limit. It's a market order. And when only limit orders can fill. If I leave this market order though out, as soon as 930 hits, you're going to get filled instantly, no matter where the price is. So that's one thing just to be careful on. Make sure you cancel those orders. Make sure you close those orders and you look into limit order. Now I want to change the price because limit order means I'm only going to buy at this price, right? And that's the important thing of a limit order versus a market order. Market orders fill you at any price. You're pretty much telling the market maker, the person that makes the market, get me in at all cost. I want in now. That's what a market order is. A limit order is get me in at $10 right on the dot. Something like that is so important to understand for you newer traders. I definitely think you got to catch these before you make the mistake, right? So let's say just for order purposes, I'm going to try to put it in one here at $7. Of course, I'm not going to get filled. Don't expect to get filled, but I just want to show you guys that. So there it is. Now it'd be a limit order and you actually see it on the screen. And if it actually hit this, yeah, I would get filled, right? So what I'm going to show you here is how to actually get filled here also. So just for order purposes, I'm going to do an order and we'll see what happens here. So I'm going to do it one share here, just order, just to kind of show you how it works out, right? And so here's $8. We'll do one share here. You can see here, instant fill, confirm order placement. You sure you want to place this order? It's going to instantly fill. Why? Because I'm putting it out right on the $8, which is the offer. So it will instant fill if I hit yes. Boom, I hit yes. And look, instant fill. I'm already in, guys. So there you guys have it. I only did one share here just to kind of show you guys it. And just to put it in perspective, right here, you guys see it. The position in, long position exposure, one share, right? We'll see what happens now. How will my one share turn out? And don't forget to use the chart trading. But the chart trading will not work in the pre-market hours. If I go to the stop loss and I put it down here, I can put it down here, but it won't trigger unless the market's open. Same thing for the target profit. I can put the target profit up and then it won't trigger until the open market. It needs to be an open market order because these orders here, they're stop loss and target profit. These are good to cancel. They're like kind of stops. They're not limit orders. So you would have to place a limit order to get out of this position. So now I'm going to place a limit order to get out of it, right? So at $8, it's probably not going to get me out immediately. It's going to just sit there because it's on the offer, right? So here you guys see it. I have the order out there at 8, but since it's on the offer, no fill instantly. Watch what happens when I take this up here. I'm going to cancel it. I just canceled it. And now I'm going to put it on the bid. So you see the 795, right? 795 here. Now I'm just going to go and close the trade, right? So boom, it's telling me, hey, you're going to get an instant fill. You sure you want that? Yeah, I want out. Get me out of here. Boom, I'm out of the trade, right? That's what it's all about, team. There you show it. I'm always going to be transparent. I'm always going to show you full disclosure. If you guys always want to see this platform screen, let me know. Like always, I have different screens here. I pretty much use 4 main screens And then I have, of course, where you guys see the camera right here. I have a nice prompter and camera that's going on here. And then, of course, I have the big screen here, back here, where I put some stocks at some times when I'm watching something that I just want to keep an eye out for. That's where you guys see the trade to pool action behind me. But yeah, smash the like, guys. We got a lot to talk about here. Let's keep it going. Let's see what we can come up with. It's a beautiful day, like always, guys. We got a lot to talk about right before the open. Let's go take a look at some of the Sunrise report as we take a look at some of the stocks that reported earnings and what's moving out there. We do got some numbers that are coming in also. So keep your eyes out there on the action. We'll see what happens. Smash it up, guys. Let's keep going. All right, team, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the action here and see what stock we're going to come up with. First up, of course, we're going to take a look to see what's going on with some numbers. We get in PCE, definitely going to be something to take a look at, along with, of course, Friday's jobs reports. We'll see how this actually works into the market. It already came in, so let's take a look at the action. Of course, we're a little bit lower than we were right now, but at the 830 spot, we kind of just started to tweak right back down. So that's where the concern really comes in today, right? And so you got to be watching to see what happens there. Let me give you guys those exact numbers right now. I'm pulling them up here, of course, using my Benzinga Pro. If you don't use Benzinga Pro, take a look into our sponsors. Of course, you guys get these with the bigger accounts, and definitely take a look into it. Initial jobless claims came in at 216,000 versus a 229,000 estimate. So jobless claims not spiking is a good sign for the market. Yet the market's on the downside. Why? Well, let's take a look here. We got core PCE. Core PCE came in at 2.7 versus a 2.6 estimate. So a little bit of a spike there on the core PCE. Not something that we wanted to see. And if we take a look at core PCE price index, so taking a look there, we had 0.3 versus the 0.3. We got a 0.5 versus a 0.4 estimate for personal spending. So that's not the worst to see there. I think right now you're seeing a negative reaction to the numbers, and that's something definitely to take a look at. We'll see if this actually kind of leaks into the market, as we are seeing a little bit of a leak overnight, and things are lower. Things came in the morning, and I feel like there was some buying going on, but now it's kind of starting to get hit. And Microsoft, it didn't really have a bad report. We're going to talk a little bit about it. Is still taking a beating. Let's go to Meta also. Let's take a look at Meta as they're starting to bounce back. They have their report also out there. Let's talk about that. Of course, Meta's reported their strong revenues and earnings beats with an EPS of 603 versus 525 expected. Revenues at 40.59 billion, up 19% year over year. However, concerns arose, of course, on infrastructure expenses forecasted to surge in 2025, slightly missed the user's metric. 3.29 billion versus the 3.31 billion expected. The company's AI investments are really where all eyes are open for investors, as the ad tool and adoption remains high through Meta's Reality Labs. They saw a $4.4 billion loss, forecasting for Q4 revenues between $45 billion and $48 billion were better than expected. Setting the stage for future growth is Meta here, and it's bouncing back, but we'll see. Will this take another hit to the downside? I feel like Meta's trying to hold on a lot better than Microsoft is. But let's talk a little bit about Microsoft's focus quarter, right? Of course, taking a hit to the downside. Today, I'll be watching the trend line that we've been looking for a long time. And look where we are now. We started to go above this, made a fake out to the upside. That's where it gets dangerous. This could be a collapse here in Microsoft. Let's talk a little bit about the numbers here as they surpassed their earnings. Their earnings and EPS were at 330, right? Revenues estimates was at 65.59 billion, and the estimate was 64.51. So big beat there, not bad at all. Azure Cloud, of course, revenues were at 33%. They rose 33%, driven by AI services. Through supply constraints may cap Q2 capacity with the focus on AI infrastructure. Microsoft reported a 50% year-over-year increase in property equipment spending, showing a commitment to AI growth despite the headwinds in personal computing. So, of course, AI, but AI didn't save Microsoft this time around. The cloud computing numbers were actually great, and so were AMD's, but that's not saving the stock. So that tells me more and more. We do want to see that there's spending in AI, but we want to see the money and the money. And right now, the stocks are not reacting favorably to the earnings reports. All right, let's take a look at what else is out there. We'll go to Booking, and this one was a good report and was getting a lift. Let's see if it's holding the lift now. Is Booking, and you can see it. It's pretty good. It's up there towards 4,850. That's where the offer is right now. Booking Holdings shares jumped nearly 6% on better than expected earnings, 83.39 per share, above the 77.52 consensus, 7.99 billion in revenue, signaling a strong demand for its online reservations services. The performance has highlighted the resiliency in travel sector, despite, of course, global uncertainties. And of course, you guys have been seeing it with RCL's report and that reaction. That had a really good reaction. You guys can see it. RCL trading up there towards 210. We were looking at it struggling back at 161. That's been a really good move there. NCLH, I talked about it when it was down here. Man, what a miss it was around 16s and 17s. This is now 25 and breaking out higher. Could go to the 35. We'll see what happens there. But this just shows me, would other ones run now? Well, we're seeing it already. Hilton, right? Airbnb has lately been hot. Will these continue to make the move? Leisure, not doing bad here and definitely getting the lift. If we look at the airlines are looking good too. United, American, all doing well. Delta doing well. Love struggling a little bit more, but still rebounding even off of that hit. So that just goes to show me, guys, that at the end of the day, leisure is hanging on here, and you could see a little bit of a push into the holidays. We'll take a look at the action out there. What's going on? Let me catch some comments. Good morning to you guys. Jan, what's up out there? Who's here and uses this firm? Got a really some payouts. There are some traders in here that's gotten some money. So just keep it going. You'll definitely run into them. Jan, what's up out there? How we doing? Steph, morning all. Let's not procrastinate over size like I did yesterday. Was up about 500 at 1 p.m. Told myself to stop trading. Took a huge $550 loss on one trade. Ouch. I deserve it. Tough way to learn it, right? And I think that we all need to learn this sometimes, guys. It can't be about being what? This is very important. I think Steph is going to really enjoy this. It can't be about being addicted to trading. And this is important, guys. At the end of the day, we're here to make money, right? We're all trying to get what? Like mentioned in the chat right now, the payout. That's what we're here for. At the end of the day, we're not here just to play a game, right? If we want to play games, we buy Xbox and we play those games, right? We buy computer games and we play those games. This is not a game. This is a business. And we need to view it like that. And as business leaders, we need to make the right decisions consistent, right? And so sometimes you're going to have decisions to make, and it's just not push the gas pedal. It's end the day. And that's how it needs to be for a business also. Sometimes if you push it too much as a business, you run into a big wall and you take a hit, right? So finding that balance is very important. And like always, finding that balance also in the sizing, right? I've talked about it. I've been trying to find what's maybe too big, what's too small, and finding somewhere in between there for my share size. It's not easy. Let's go back to it, Steph. Of course, we're watching AMIX. I actually had a position on, kind of cut it on accident, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. But let's take a look at it, see if it starts to recover. I do want to take a look at it. I think it's definitely a stock to watch. I had it at 14, right on the dot. So that's where I kind of wanted it. It recovered 14 just now. Made a move here to 1550. It's trying to hold on, but the problem is that it's going to come to the open, and the open could be a wash. It's a hard play. Regardless of whichever way you play it, I think it's going to be a hard play. Don't forget also, this has already been up there before, so it could have just been a blow off top, and maybe it doesn't even go back all the way up there. We can't just assume that it's going to go back towards 22.25. I think that's where a lot of traders might get it twisted today, especially on a day where I'm seeing a lot of struggle. All right, seeing some stocks move in the scanners here. EFSH. This is going to be one that's interesting. 1847 holding. Multiple high attempts to try to get to $1. Can this get to $1 today? Yes, it can. The only thing is it's going to need to blow through that 80 to get towards that. So keep your eye on that EFSH. Let's go to another one here. Interesting one I'm catching in the tape here. Is that Playboy? Yeah, PLBY. Playboy Group. Getting a little bit of a spike there. We'll see what happens. Is this Playboy? I remember we had it here. Remember I interviewed them for SPAC days. Let's see here. Yeah, seems like I got it right. Yeah, it is Playboy Group. All right, getting a little spike here. Did they have earnings? Yes. And Byborg agrees to purchase 14.9 million shares for $1.50. Yeah. If you get someone to say that they're going to be buying a good amount of shares for $1.50 and the stock is trading at $1, yeah, you're going to have some traders start looking at this. So take a look at the action there. I'm seeing the news come in right there. Just wanted to show you guys the news there. You guys can see it right there. It's a little bit in the black. I'm sorry about that. I don't pay for tip ranks. But here you guys see it. 14.9 million shares at $1.50 for a total purchase price of 22.35. They could expect to close the purchase and sale of the shares on or before November 8th. So just to note that they don't have to do it today, right? But definitely something to watch there. $1 stock. Let's go take a look to see what else is moving out there. LUXH, 5-cent stock. Not something that I'll be watching, but something, I mean, if you really wanted to take a look at it, I mean, it's 5 cents, right? Peloton back at 780s. We'll look to see what happens on that one. AMD, interesting. That's up at 148. Let's keep going with the Sunrise. Let's keep going into different names. Let's go to Starbucks as they missed on growth. They're pulling back, but I've talked about Starbucks. It's all about China. It's all about China. We'll see what happens. Will it fill the gap on the downside? It is dipping a little bit here. Reported weaker than expected global same-store sales growth in Q4. Demand in key markets like U.S. and China declined, resulting in earnings missing 80 cents per share versus $1.03 expected. Revenues missed at $9.7 billion versus a $9.36 billion. This reflects the current headwinds in the consumer spending habits and just goes to show you that Starbucks doesn't have a grip like it used to. And I know that a lot of people love Starbucks, but I think in some point Starbucks is not going to be the company it once was. But for right now, it's all about China. And if they can turn things around in China, yeah, it'll come right back. We'll see what happens today out the gates for Starbucks. Let's go to one more here. Let's go to Uber. Uber is taking the hit on the downside as they beat expectations here on the revenues, but of course, doesn't look good here on the action. The company remains on track to achieve 20% booking growth in the fiscal year of 25, showing confidence in its global growth strategy and rising competition in its rideshare and delivery sectors. So it has been doing well. It exceeded revenues. The earnings per share weren't as high as it could have been here, but Uber definitely taking a hit here. We'll see what happens. It was already strong, so this could just be a little bit of a pullback towards the trend line and trying to find some buyers around 70. Doesn't look too bad, but one that I'd keep a watch for the next couple of weeks. All right, taking a look around. AMIX, definitely one of the top movers. Will it get to the 15 and really start going? 16 is really the level that I'm looking at, right? That's where things can get really hot here. Pulled back just recently towards 14.25, so could have taken a shot off the 14 there. I'll be watching it out the gates. Definitely going to have a lot of eyes on this stocks. You got to be careful, though, playing a mover like this. All right, let's keep it going. Of course, other than that was the Peloton news as they got a new CEO. We've talked about that. That's Peter Stern, a subscription leader from Ford. So keep your eyes on that as he is a reoccurring revenue specialist from Ford. Let's take a look at right here, Carvana. Carvana had some good earnings also. And I talked about this on my Twitter. So let me pull that tweet up.
because this is what it's all about, guys. If you keep up with me, I'll be putting out mentions like this. And I think it's so important to catch moments like this. I talked about it on bar charts, and this is exactly what I said yesterday when I saw that report. So good mention in the chat. Might as well bring it up. They said, look, Carvana continues to defy belief as it's spiking and spiking. I said, well, this is what's happened here, right? And I think this is the important thing, is that inflation was thought to hurt Carvana. I was one of those. I thought inflation would destroy Carvana, but in the end, it actually helped them. That's really interesting. Why? They bought up vehicles at low rates, right? In 2019, had a lot of vehicles. And when, of course, the pandemic happened and there was low interest rates, the cars spiked, but it took a while to see that spike. And what did you actually see is that they used that low interest rate to buy a lot of vehicles that went up in asset value. And so if I bought, let's say, 100 vehicles at $20,000, right? And in a year, they're valued at $40,000, and I got them on a low interest. How would that appeal to the business? Well, that would be a massive move. Not only are you now able to sell these cars at higher value than you bought them, but their actual value, the asset value, the sitting value is higher. And I think that is really helping other ones out. So we'll see what happens there. Definitely keep your eyes on that. Another thing, of course, is the rate cutting cycle, and that new cars are costing $50,000 to $80,000. So the truth is, a used car is going to be a norm moving forward. I don't expect people to always say they're buying new vehicles now. If anything, I think that's slowly going to go away, and the new car dealerships are going to struggle. That's why I do not like Ford. I do not like GM. I do not like even Tesla for the actual car selling situation. That's not a good situation to be in, because if cars are going to cost that much, let's be honest, the average person cannot afford a $700 to $1,000 car payment. That's a mortgage. That's a house, not a car payment. Car payment should be closer down towards $300, and maybe on the max end $600. But that's like if you have like a really nice car, not your average Camry or a RAV4. I saw a RAV4 go for, on the low end, $45,000. That's not going to be what the average person can buy, right? Let's just be honest. You can't buy that vehicle if you're making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. You're going to be in the struggle. We'll see what happens out there, guys. All right, broke VWAP. Let's see if it can hold. Let's go. Let's go see it. Let's see it live. TNON was one that I was watching also this morning. Looked good, pulled back. Let's see what happens here. Great insights. Hey, glad you enjoy that. And really, that's my thinking in this, right? And why Carvana is doing well. It was a flip of story, because in the pandemic, it looked really bad. Like we were like, oh man, this is going to go to zero, but it quickly flipped. And that's how trading is and investing is. You have to be flexible with that. Most traders are not flexible with their mentality. They get bearish a company and they stay bearish a company. No, understand that you can flip. So I was even bearish at one point in Carvana, no longer bearish. I'm not fighting that company. That company has the ability to keep kicking ass. Why? Because it's a new strategy and a new buyer's mentality. That could definitely kick into 2025 and further, right? Until these interest rates go further down to where these vehicles can be purchased and, let's say, financed at like 3% or 2%, then things will be looking better. But right now, some cars and vehicles were being financed at 10%. It's not going to help you guys. And that's really bad there. Let's keep it going. Let's go look around. And for that being said, Carvana is a play. But what about another play in the used auto space? KMX is one I would keep a very close eye on, because it has pulled back. It has been steady here. So for investment opportunity, I think this is a really nice name. Of course, Full disclosure, not here for financial advice, here for educational. But like always, I'm always going to give you guys what I see out there in the market and what I'm looking at. So CarMax could be something that could be a surprise mover to the upside. Why? Because of the situation that's going on. KMX, you got it, my friend. All right, we'll see what else is out there. Let's keep it going. Let's go towards these fast movers. Let's go take a look at them. Of course, AMIX, the fastest move this morning. And I'll look in the scanner just before the open here to see if there's anything else. So let me look into my scanner right quick here. I'm seeing AVTE as another name that's making the move today. And that's a penny stock. AVTE, that's a $3 name, just starting to spike, guys. So if you guys are looking for names, here's another one just starting to spike, just got there towards $3. We'll see if this one can continue. AVTE, there you guys have it. Always going to be taking a look out there. Thoughts on Root up 90% already. Let's take a look. Root. This is an insurance company, so just be careful out these. When these are popping, there's probably a reason why, so I'd be a little bit careful, but it is getting a nice little move there. This one looks like it's moving on the 15-minute and just holding kind of a rounding pattern. So look at hourlies for pullbacks, right? If it's going to break down, it's going to break down through an hourly support, and it's going to be fast. Right now, I think you got to look for at least 66 on the downside for this to really break down. It's really, really strong right now, and it could keep just going. What you want to see is also a break of the VWAP on the 15-minute, and it's held it pretty strong this morning. So until that trend breaks, I would be watching for upside move. Another good sign could be is a MACD crossover on the 1 hour to the downside. You can see the expansion right now. You can kind of watch the 15-minute to see when you get that cross, like you got it here. Right. So right here, you did get a cross and it started to pull back a little bit, but that's why I'm watching the hourly one, because what you want to see is the hourly one start giving you that change. And then it can show us that it's starting to break down. But it's an interesting play. I think right now for me, it looks more for the upside. I'd have to see it break that VWAP or at least show me why this is starting to slow down. There is a lot of resistance that it's running into. So if you're using levels like that, that's one thing to do. So that's a 83 or 84 pop. And don't forget that this had a wick here to 86. So if there's any place this can go to, 86 is still available. Markets open, guys. Let's go trading. You guys know what it is. It's Halloween, so stay safe out there. Stay safe out there, traders. Let's go trade. All right, guys, looking good here. Let's go. We'll see what we can get here. I am up 387, so not trying to overexpose out the gates. A lot of action is going to happen here, up and down. I'm going to be in watch mode. Peloton straight got a nice little start move towards 8. I'm not going to touch that one right there. I still want to see this one pull back a little bit closer towards the 760s. So 760s will give me an alert. I'll let you guys know if it does cut down there. If Peloton, if we are going to play it, it's going to rip through 850s. We'll see what happens on that one. Definitely on the alert. Look at 806 getting bought up right now. Could make an approach to the 850s. Watching the Qs here straight down out the gates, guys. So BXX looking good here. It already spiked 50 cents, guys. Already from the open, 50-cent spike there, showing me the downside coming into the market. So SOXS looking like a nice opportunity today. Definitely seeing that downside come into the market there. Quick spike there. Microsoft going lower. Alert towards upside on Peloton, trying to make the move. 817 starting to go there. 820s. We'll see if it goes to the 850s. Downside looking down right now, guys. Apple coming red here. So looking ugly right now, guys. Looking ugly. Caterpillar could go lower right now. I'm looking at that. Looking at what's red and what's green here. What's green is utilities, and what's on the red side, healthcare and technology. So not good looks for the market overall. SPY heading straight down there. SPXS also heading to the upside. That's one way to play the downside in the bearish action that's going on right now. But definitely seeing that downside there. AMIX down there to 1517s, trying to hold the pullback on that. I think something needs to happen on that name. I'm going to leave that name alone for right now. I think it could wipe out first and then come back later in the day. You guys yell at me if that thing starts getting hot, but taking a look around here, XLK on the downside, really getting a hit there. And now things are looking ugly out there, guys. So now we have utilities and energy slightly green, cyclicals almost going red. So just right now, we got about 9 or I'm going to say eight sectors right now in the red. So it doesn't look good here out the gates. Peloton pushing strong, guys. Now almost to that 850. So that one was a good hold off the 8. Now pushing up there. Now trying to get that break through the 850s. Could pull back off of that, but nice little breakout in Peloton. I'm seeing another insurance stock making moves. So that tells me more and more. Yeah, be careful with that insurance name. Now Lemon getting a little push here. So keep your eyes on this one. I know that this one's a retail favorite and it's moving here. So I don't trade these often, but it's on a day 2 move. So I'm watching it here. 15-minute pullback towards 2160 seems to make sense for me on Lemon. Lemonade Inc. It's an insurance property. Let's see if it can pull back here below the 2160s towards 21. Seems like a good area. I'm going to be watching it here for a potential long. Look at the spread, though. The spread spreading out there, 50 cents. That's the hardest thing with this one. I would like to take this trade right now, but the spread is just wide, man. That puppy went 50 cents there. All right, smash it up out there, guys. Root might have some short squeezes. Yeah. Crazy move on DJT at the open. Yeah, I really don't like trading DJT. Not that I got anything against my Trump man, but we'll see what happens. The Trumper. All right, 22's now holding up. Now the spread's tightening up here. So it doesn't look too bad to maybe play this here, guys. Got to be careful because the spread's pretty wide here. So if I do come after it, got to be slow and then try to build into it. Looking at the 22s as potential entry here. I might risk like $100 here, just get the starter on. I'm just throwing it out there right now at 22s, looking for a pullback fill here. If I do get the pullback fill, I will take it. Let's see what happens here. See if I can get a pullback fill here. No fill on that pullback. Looking to go ahead and try to put some out at 22.20. So putting out some orders here to try to get filled on a pullback. But if I get no pullback fill, hey, so be it here. Let's see what happens. I'm putting orders to try to buy Lemon here, but need to see it start to hold up here. Tesla pulled back to the 258, now starting to get up there. VIX went up there to 56, now starting to pull back here. So that's going to help. The market started to bounce. Google looking good here. Hughes went down fast, though, man. Fast. That was definitely a wipeout of the bulls there out the gates. No pullback fill there on Lemonade. Already there to 2280s. I'm going to cancel here, guys. So hesitated there. And it was a lot of the spread. The spread went 50 cents wide right at the bottom, right? If it was like even 10 cents wide there, I might have gotten in there. 15 cents wide, I would have got in there. It was 50 cents. It was too much there. But this tells me more and more. Be careful with that root up to the upside. And that's exactly what I mentioned, is that when I see an industry going hot, right now it's this industry, insurance, property, and casualty. That's what's getting the push, right? And you can see it here. We're going to take a look to see what's leading in that spot, but you can see root, and what's right behind it, Lemonade, and what's right behind that, KMPR. This is an industry move that's affecting it. So the sympathy is going to Lemonade from root's breakout, right? And so that's exactly what I'm seeing here. Now I'm getting an attempt here on Lemonade back here. Might still get the attempt at 22. So I'm just looking at it here, guys. I needed to pull back a little bit further, maybe test back here towards 2150s here and then make the move. So watching it, but definitely there's some strength there in that root. I think's rooted and moving. Visa had earnings too.
I think I'm seeing financials down right now, so I wouldn't see it as such a positive. But let's take a look here. Visa actually pushing pretty strong here. So good mention there. I like the mention. Looking at it to see what's going on here. Definitely recovering that danger zone. Of course, this thing had a danger zone down here and now has been holding this trend line, starting to approach towards the resistance breakout towards 300. So 300 in play today right now. It's 294. 295s almost already. So definitely recovering there on Visa. And that should tell me that maybe we look at MasterCard for the sympathy play. So you see sympathy a lot of times play on both of these, and MasterCard and Visa seem to trade side by side. AMD pulling back towards 145, 146. It's pulled back a significant amount. Could find some bounce today, but there's a lot of other stocks that are in the green. If anything, this looks pretty bad right now. Peloton made it up there, now starting to pull back off the 850s. We'll see if it reloads at 780s here. I don't think it'll get it. I think you're getting a little bit further pullback. AMIX also pulled back there, going right back down there. Fake out to the upside. That was nasty. Nasty in AMIX. That's why I kind of wanted to avoid it, man. I'll avoid that one today like the plague. Just be careful out there, guys. TNON, that looks better, guys. That recovered 4 here, and I'm looking at it. I was watching this earlier in the pre-market, and it was trying to come back here towards 4 and hold 4, maybe come back towards the 450s. Just got back above the 4s. Doesn't look too bad if we can risk off that 4. So we just got it back above that. Let's see if we can go ahead and take a shot here in TNON. I will try to keep the risk tight here because I'm really not trying to play too many of these penny stocks, but TNON doesn't look too bad right now. Big order at 404s. That's the wall that we need to get through. So 404, I saw a big order show up on the depth there. It was a big one. So I'm looking to see if 404 can show up again. I don't want to order into and get into it until I see that 404 actually hit on the time and sales. So that's what I'm watching for right now. Disney moving. I talked about Disney yesterday to the upside. I think it can get to 100. It's at 96, not looking too bad. I'd like a pullback there to 95.50s, 90, 96. I think this could get there, break that trend line, get up there towards the 100. I put this box there for a reason. I'm actually going to make it green here so we can look to see if we get up there into that spot. I could see it getting back there towards 100, maybe 105 before the earnings. This one has earnings on the 14th of November. Still bearish action coming in. VIX now, though, of course, showing that pullback here, giving me the opportunity if I want to play the VIX back to the upside here. It's going to be more about, are we going to continue leaking? Are we just going to continue leaking today? I think that we got to watch Apple. Apple's a good sign there. It is recovering right now. Google is trying to recover. Microsoft is trying to recover. So Amazon is trying to recover. Right. So I think Amazon, Apple, NVIDIA, those are the type of names we got to keep an eye out. Apple and Google seem to be leading right now. So I'm watching Google to see if it continues to break to the upside and Apple break to the upside. If those continue strong, I can't play the VXX here. So that's what I'm thinking. If I do, it'd have to be a short. I'm not going to short it here. Doesn't make sense. Only thing that makes sense there is a long based on the chart. We'll see what happens there. Now I'm getting this TNON now starting to come back here towards that 4, right? So we made that attempt to break down. Now it's looking a lot better here. Still going to have to see that seller or buyer at the 404s. So looking to see what happens here, but it is trying to reclaim 4 and make a little bit of a spike here. TNON. We'll see if it actually can get going. All right, looking in the chat, what's going on out there, guys? SMCI breaking down. Yeah, that one's a tough one. All right, I'm out for now. No setups for me, but let's see when the trend line gets hit. I'll trade. Just working, just watching without taking action. It's the hardest thing for me, even after a few years. Yes, that is the hardest thing. So sometimes it's okay to just go get a coffee, maybe take a little bit of a break. Set alerts. Alerts are so important.
And the alerts on our platform on Trade the Pool are absolutely amazing, guys. Check them out. Weakness looks good in the market. There's some weak action right now. And so let's see what happens here in the Qs. Will it go for another leg down here? It does not look good. It looks like the SPY wants to reject and just keep going lower here. So we'll see if things start to climb back. Utilities and energy leading the action to the upside doesn't make me feel too confident things are coming back. Healthcare is another area. Will Lilly come back? Of course, Lilly had a horrible action on their earnings. It's down, down, down right now, but could recover today. So I'm watching action like that to see if there's some recovery going on in some kind of space here. Healthcare, technology, one of the two need to come back if the market is really going to make a comeback. VXX setting up here now for the break back above the 5550s. What's going to happen today? Will we get the continued downside to play in? It's definitely been downside type of market here. Let's see what happens. Will we just continue to leak here? Google staying strong, Apple staying strong tells me that yes, watch out because this could flip right back to the upside. That's why I'm not taking bets right now. Q's approaching that downside break towards the 490s. Could do a quick wick here and then recovery. So that's what I'm going to kind of look for. Quick wick and then recovery. VXX towards 5550. So you got your play there if you want to play it, right? You're trying to play it back towards 5606. There's the position. There's the recovery. 5524s. Will it get back up to that level? I think right now you might see a little bit of a wick. And that wick is the Q's maybe trying to break down and then recover quickly. Tesla doing the same thing, trying to get back towards the open here and trying to start to push back to the upside. Apple trying to hold on here, watching Google, right? Google's actually stronger than all of them. Microsoft trying to come back a little bit. Amazon bounce a little bit, but not really a big bounce there. Still red. XLU going higher there, so that's actually getting a nice little push there. XLE also staying strong there. Cyclicals are at least decent right now. And that's all Carvana. Carvana staying strong, guys. Look at that push back towards the 248. So that's actually making a decent move there. KMX is one to watch now. It's above the VWAP. Could start making a move to the upside on this. Actually like this for a swing trade idea. We'll be watching here to see what happens there on KMX. Definitely back through 76. I want to be watching this. There's that spike there. VXX starting to get a little bit of a jump there back towards the 60s. We'll see if it's just a fake out to the upside here. But definitely seeing the downside come in on the Qs. 498. Let's see if it reverses right back up here. But man, it's a tough day. Google hanging on here. Apple, will it hang on or will it flush down? Here comes Google pulling back. It doesn't look good. Looks like red action today. And you guys know I love playing the VIX to the upside, but not be getting it here. Just didn't feel like the moment here. It felt like a bounce was coming, but hey, you know how that is. Market action, straight red out the gates. 3 5-minute, almost 4 5-minute candles on the red. SMCI breaking down to 28s now. Taking a look at industrials as Picard goes lower. And I talked about how this seems like a short yesterday. It seems like a short again today. Tesla making a hard downside move there. Tesla down to 256 there. Rejected the 260 recovery today. VXX taking off there. now towards 55.90s now, definitely almost towards the 56. So it would have been a nice play off the 55.50s. With the size that I play with 1,000 shares, that's $500, almost $600 already. AMIX back towards 14 here. So I'm taking a look at it to see if it's going to do this kind of like whipsaw right back up here. The volume has died off on this AMIX. Definitely tried to get played out the gates. Went into a halt on the downside. Now it's going sideways here, and I think it's important to see if it comes to this level one more time, this 1350s, and breaks it. If it doesn't, it could come quickly back through the 15. There it is, kind of holding in there. Watching the action here. It is starting to come back already here. Tesla making another attempt down there. VIX now, VXX towards 56.05s. Made an attempt to the breakout on the upside there. Apple now down towards 228s. Google pulling back here. We'll see if it holds at 177. Microsoft on the low here. Amazon on the low, so definitely taking a hit there. The SPY down here. XLF now starting to break here. Now you're starting to see the banks join in on the downside. That's not good news here. And now cyclical is going red. Energy almost going red here. It looks bloody out there right now, guys. It looks ugly, guys. 56.18. Missed that opportunity to the downside today. Look at the VIX jumping there. Nice push. Can you actually link Trade the Pool with TradingView? Since I connect to my broker, it's so much easier for me to put down trades, for example, straight away with a stop loss and take profit. Good. No, I don't think you can link the two, but you can use it like I do, right? I use my TC charting, but I'm always putting my orders and execution, of course, through the platform. Big pullbacks today, man. Man, that was a good opportunity there. 56.30s. That we're talking what? On the VWAP, that was 55.50s. That was a great trade there. That's 91 cents there. That's $1,000. All right, let's see if things can start to work back here. I'm watching this TNON to see if it comes back there. I'll be watching it here. I'm really just going to set an alert at like 390s. When it comes back through 4, I think it's one to watch. Could make a run to 460 and 5 today. So that's what I'm just thinking about. AMIX is hanging out here. Just made that attempt back down there towards that 1350s. Talked about how that would be an attempt that would make me at least look at the name. Now it could come right back, right? I think that you've had 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to break down the 1320s. Let's see if it works its way back above the 15 spot, really. That's where things will get hot, and we'll see if it starts to push. All right, 1350s holding in there. And if I look at the bigger time frame, I see 1, 2, 3 kind of bottoming actions at the 13. The one that's impressed me, guys, on the daily chart has been drug. How the hell has that one hung in there? It's just hung in there on the daily. It's crazy to see these. Just hanging in there, man, is drug. Playboy getting that lift above the $1 spot there. Can it get going? Will it go to that 150 spot today? Looking at it, it's trying to make the move above this $1 spot. Now held the VWAP. Starting to push above the 110s here. Could go for a little scalp here. I might actually try a little scalp here. I don't take these too often here, but let's see if I can go ahead and just take this trade. It's already ripping here. Didn't give me a chance, man. And with a scalp, you know, I had to get the 110 entry, not the 115 entry. And look at it already, almost to the 120. So I'm looking to see if I can get a little pullback here to like 110, 109. Then look for the push towards 120 and 125. I like the way that the pattern's trading, right? I mean, you got this nice little trend line. It just broke back above that. So looking for a pullback towards 110 to then take out the resistance. Close above 115 is a good looking level. There we go, already 116s. And so I think I missed this one already. I just hesitated when I saw it. Could have just jumped on it, right? 115, 111 would have been probably a good entry there. Already to 118, could break the 120s, go to 125, 130s, and that's what I would be selling, right? I would have bought it at 110, selling it towards the 120s and above. So if it expands to like 125, wouldn't mind taking that trade and then taking the money and run. Right there, it's at 120, almost 125s, and as it breaks towards the 125s, I'd probably just take the money. Good looking trade off the $1 spot there. There's the 120s. Now starts to show up 121. I'd be looking for the next spike just to take the money. But hey, not a bad trade there, right? So I would have loved to have traded that one. Good trade there. Just hesitated there. You guys saw me. I was trying to set it up there. It just moved really fast into the 115s. So didn't get that chance to play it at the 110. Man, the Qs are weak, guys. 487 now and just destroyed today. Destroyed. VIX now towards 5630s. We could get a pullback here, but man, it's been ugly. SMCI down there. Down, 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 down she goes. Every sector in the red except now, of course, utilities and energy. Those are the only two. Defensive's almost going red. That's an ugly sight. Looking at Colgate, Palm Olive, looking at the defensive names here. How's Peloton? Back towards 8, guys. Let's take a look. That's hanging on that 8 right now. Lemonade, lemonade. Held on. It's back at VWAP. Went to that 23. Look to see if it goes higher there. Root towards 103.50s. Root's been ripping, man. All right, let's go to this lemonade. It doesn't look too bad. It's just the spread that kills me. That's the problem here with lemonade. It's just the spread. The spread's tough. 15-minute chart still looking pretty though. 5-minute has a pullback towards 22 on the 9 EMA available here. I'd like that 22. Jumping up here at 23s. Yeah, it can go to 24s. The risk is about $1, so. Google pulling back there to the VWAP. Are we going to get a bounce into Qs? Are we going to get it? Apple trying to come back and recover on the day. Of course, it reports tonight after the bell. It's been an ugly Halloween start today, guys. That's for sure. Will Mitch end up into the green? Only one way to find out. Stick around, guys. Stick around. Let's go. All right, guys, starting to see a recovery available here on Apple. Let's see if we get it. It goes lemonade. Lemonade looking good. Q's trying to bottom out at the 488 level. There goes lemonade. Get your lemonade. Root up to 103. Playboy 125s. Some good names today, man. Just a little hesitant, but I'm in the green. Don't need to push too much. 70 cents recovering now on EFSH. Could go towards $1 today. Has held pretty decent. Has had a good amount of volume. It doesn't look bad on the hourly either. Hourly chart's looking good here. So an approach to 80 cents does make sense here. Now should hold about 65. So like that it held that right there. So that's looking good. All time frames looking good here. All right, let's see if we can get 66 or 65s right here on EFSH. Real penny name. All right, there's 66 on the bid. There we go. 65's on the bid now. Could get the 66 on the offer now. There it is on the offer. 66 showing up there. Looks decent now. I'm going to take a shot on this right here, guys. Looking for 66 to show up here. There's some size. Just came in with some sizing now. So 36,000 shares just traded. So I'm looking to see if it's going to fade here or is it going to get the push. Could get a 64 test first. So you saw how I was clicked on it. I just clicked off of it, right? So that's one way to protect myself. I was about to get in, but I can see this coming back towards the 64 test. It's going to test to break down here at 63s and then come right back up. Choose trying to hold. AMIX now down to 12. So yeah, that washed out a lot of people, I'm sure. Not getting the move there, guys. So just staying on the sideline here. Setting an alert for it at the 67s, but looks like it wants to break down a little bit here. If it comes back towards 67s, I think that's the buy, but we'll see what happens. There it goes to 61. Not what I wanted to see there. So glad I didn't get in and just staying on the sideline right now. It might be one of those days where I don't even trade, and it's crazy because I want to trade, and you guys see me. I'm looking around, but look at that Playboy rip, guys. That was the scalp. That was a nice scalp. If you got that, Playboy scalper, scalp that Playboy. Yeah, that was a tough short, man. That's a tough short. To me, on the hourly, it's just holding too well. It's a stock that's beaten down. Could get a nice lift, right? So there's 35 million shares traded today, guys. That's not what you want to be seeing. That gives it the ability to actually keep moving. Qs are slowing down here, guys. Will we get some more downside action here? The VXX came back to the VWAP, held it again. Could start to actually turn around here, but looking at this 2633s as topping area, we'll see what happens. It is ugly right now, guys. Ugly. Everything that wants to come back is not being able to do it right now. All right, top stocks in the last hour: Root, Payc, KTB, Matt X, those types of names.
Looking around, guys, see what I can find here. Not much moving, guys. Not much moving. Definitely a little bit of a slowdown, slowing things down here. Now it's 10:02. Let's see if we can get into a little bit of a bullish sense. Looking at Google off of the VWAP there. Doesn't look too bad, but I still don't think it's ready yet. Apple down, down. Qs just continue to leak here. XLI now looks like pretty weak here, so about to come in with some weakness. We'll see what happens. Now that EFSH trying to come back here, guys. I take a scalp on this, guys. EFSH. The risk would be really tight. Google starting to come back. That's good news for the market. All right, about to take a shot here on EFSH, guys. EFSH. Have a nice cushion, so I'm going to do a smaller play here. It's a scalp opportunity here, that's for sure. Still seeing the market take hits, though. Just doesn't want to do it, guys. The spread is widening out too. That's not something you want to see. So you guys saw me click and click off there. VIX topping out a little bit. 56.33s right now. Had a top at 56.40s just a little while ago, so the momentum there. Now we got three highs in the same area, this 56.30 area. Thinking about taking a short on this. If I do take a trade on that, it's going to be smaller at first and then looking for a real flush on the downside. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 times to break this 56.30s, 56.40s. We go with 500 shares. I got to go a little smaller first. Protect myself with the squeeze. All right, guys, taking it there. So I just took it there. 23s on the first action. Only 500 shares to keep it small at first. All right, just watching the action now, short on the VXX. So essentially expecting the market to come back. So that's what I'd want to see. I'd want to see the Qs start working its way back here. So I'm going to show you guys the Qs so that you guys can see what I mean.
right? So I'm looking to see that the Qs start working its way back. All right, first cut down there, looking pretty decent there. Let's see if we can get a little bit further on the cut down. Got to let it try to pull one more time towards my level and above, and then I'll look for the add. So I'm going to look for one more wick attempt down into this spot. If it breaks the 487, that's where I got to be careful on the Qs. Back up towards 490s, and I'm looking really good in the VXX. All right, now that's starting to cut down. Now it's looking a little bit better here. Around 1010, I'm going to look to see if we get a downside action move in the Qs. If we can get through that 1010 level, then I'll start to go ahead and go for it and really size up towards, let's say, 1,000, 1,500. Right now, it's only a third of the position that I really want to take. Apple will be one to watch for on the upside too. I could separate my buy too on that. I'm looking at Google on the VWAP, and remember I was watching that on the VWAP, and that just started to push to the upside. That's what gave me a little bit of insight to go for it. Now I'm looking at Microsoft, also taking a look at some other names here to see if they're going to start to bounce back. That could be good signs. Definitely to see those start to make the move. First move here, about $50 here. Looking to see if I just go ahead and take it. Here comes that red attempt here too. I think we're going to get that red attempt. So get a spike in the VXX for a second here. As the Qs go red here on the 5 minute, that's when I expect it. Then on the next 5 minutes, I'm going to look to see if we really go green candle above 488.50s. All right, let's get after it, team. Let's see what we can do. 500 shares is small. Yeah. 500 shares is small here, guys. Money Mitch, getting after it. 500 shares is small, guys. That's a small one. It's a small boy. All right, we'll see if we get this spike here. Now getting the spike to the downside. That's exactly what I wanted to see on the first action. So first action looking good for me here. There's the cut towards 56. Now I'm going to add here. I'm going to only add 300 because I can get a small bounce to 56.20s. So let's see if I can get a little bounce here into the 56.15s. Market's still dragging a little bit. Trying to let it play out a little bit. Not adding. Still looking for the green candle on the Qs. Coming back for the squeeze. Got to be careful for the squeeze here. Qs want another leg down here. Just got to be careful. All right, risking $100 at the 56.43s could hit me here on a spike down on the Qs. If the spike down comes and happens, hey, so be it. I can get back into the trade. Can't be losing big. Qs coming down there, trying to see it come back towards the 488. But if it doesn't do that, it's going to go for another leg lower. It just did the kind of the undercut move on that 487. Back through 56. Definitely want to go for the add. There's the spike down there. Now the Q's I'm probably going to get stopped out here in a second. I'm tightening down here, if anything. I'm now only losing 75 if I get hit. So I just tightened down there. I want to see the Q's bounce back, but if not, the VIX is going to stop me out here. Google went down fast there. That's where it's just not getting the bounce, guys. We're just not getting the bounce. Going to get cut here in the VXX for 75. Let's see what happens. And I'm literally a penny away right now. Gave it 1 penny, 1 penny more, 16 ticks away, and out. Spike out there, guys. Spike out there. Oof, 102 slippage for sure. So got some slippage there on the stop, right? Because it's a stop, it's a market order. It's a little slippage there. Got out at 56.23s. I had it set there a little bit lower. I had it set at the kind of the 20 spot there. So definitely got out there. There you guys have it. Hey, now it's starting to come back. The Q's still weak, guys. So I was probably going to do it at least on the action that I have for today, because the leak is just continuing to happen. And I missed the leak, right? That's the trade to the downside today. And it's just ugly right now, guys. Everything's starting to break down here. Even Picard was a nice look off the VWAP. I didn't go after it, but looking at Lemonade now. Lemonade was a good move there on the pullback there up to 22s. Went up there towards 23.86. Root up there to 115 almost. That is just staying incredibly strong. All right, we'll take a look, man. I was going to get Tim to join here, and he was, but it looks like Tim's a little busy here. So we'll just keep things going here, guys. We're going to tell a little bit of some horror stories. Might as well tell my horror story already. So I'll let you guys know a little bit about a horror story about me trading. And it's going to be on one of these smaller names, right? So we'll see what happens. Still up 282, almost 300, but don't want to risk it right now because it just seems like it's a trappy type of day. It's trapped, it's down, it's bloody. And unless things start to come back, I don't think I'm going to take another trade, but we'll see what happens there. It's just one of those days where I'm not feeling the edge, and I got the edge early in the day. I made some money. Why push it, right? Why push it? It's been a good day overall. Let's maybe not take it to the next level there. So that's what I'm looking at. And, 500, that's why I went for 500. If not, it would have been like $200, $300 loss. All right, you playing in VXX long or short? Well, I was short, but you can see that. It squeezed me out. Is that the Scholastics on the bottom of your chart? Okay, so I got a couple ones here. I'll show you the indicators that I use, right? So this is the RSI, the Scholastic RSI, and I use this for more daily outlook. Daily outlook is going to tell me when things are historically overbought and historically oversold. And what I mean by historic, I just want to look at the past and see when things have turned around in the past. So this thing rarely spikes up towards, let's say, 95. So if it's at 95 or 96, yeah, I expect a turnaround in basic materials. Things like that are really good edge. Next indicator, I have the MACD. Of course, the MACD. Moving average convergence divergence, going to help us with trends to tell us when trends are strong, like the trend down right now in a lot of sectors. And it's an ugly day, right? It's hard downward trend in a lot of sectors. Financials, healthcare, technology, cyclicals, basic materials. It doesn't look good, guys. And these are the days where sometimes energy or oil can go against the market. So that's exactly what we're seeing here with energy coming back. All right, I got one story about Root getting killed trying to short it. Oh, that's a tough one. Man, it's tough on that Root. That's why, guys, I want to short things that are like big rockets too. I can't blame you. But this morning when I saw that hourly chart and I saw it just holding, I was like, this is one that you got to let come back first. Let the daily candles start to go red. And yeah, this will come back at some point. Root's going to come back, but it's breaking out right now. And that's why I didn't want to short Lemonade. That's why I was like, Lemonade looks like a long, just because the sympathy, right? So the algorithms see Root going 36%, continuing to rip from the open, right? Only from the open. That's what I'm looking at it. And then they start to buy Lemonade. They start to buy the second big capitalized name here. They start to buy other names like KMPR, which hasn't really gone anywhere, but I feel like it could still continue to push. Why? Just sympathy on this. This is how a lot of the times you can take a look and manage the risk in swing trades. So swing trades are definitely one of the ways that you guys can play sympathy plays. If one name is just kicking it out the water like Carvana, you can go and try to maybe play KMX, right? And so KMX will definitely be on my radar the next couple of days to see what happens with that, right? Can we get a nice little uplift there? Carvana almost up to 251, man, hanging on. Strong one there. Let's talk a little bit about, of course, the ugly story. I'll tell you guys a little story about me on a little day trading action, a little horror story here. All right. So, of course, guys, this was a fast mover. And guys, I've traded with the best out there. I've traded with the fastest out there. I've been in different trading rooms. I paid for them, right? Put the money out there. I'm going to tell you about a story that I was with when I was trading in Warrior Trading Room. Yes, Ross Cameron. I know that you guys, I think I hate the man, but the truth is he showed me a lot of my early skills and showed me a lot about different patterns, different ways to approach the market. Am I still in that chat room? By no means necessary. And a lot of this was on action like this. And I'll talk to you guys about it because I was seeing a parabolic mover and it was a stock that was going from 3 to 7. Right now, that's where I was seeing it go through. It was already up over 100%, but this is when we were starting to see stocks like AMIX that were ripping and going to the moon, right? So I'm looking at this stock and it's approaching the $7 spot, and I used to love to buy whole dollars, right? So as a stock approached, let's say the whole dollar of 7, I would go and buy it at 690s or 7 and look for the quick pop to sell into. Right? Maybe he's just selling into 730, 750, 760 on a quick pop. But in this case here, guys, what ended up happening to me was as bad as it gets. As soon as I started to see the stock coming up, I'm like, all right, well, we're looking great. We're looking great. I hear, of course, I'm gonna call him a guru here. Maybe Furu, whatever you want to call him. You see, I'm going to say CR, right? CR is going long and he's adding to the position. He's getting added. And I think he added around, just a perspective, right? I don't know the exact ad, but it's somewhere around that 666, 675. And it starts popping. It gets close to that 7 and he's looking at it. He's like, I'm looking at it. It looks good here. Let's see if it gets through 7. And then I'm going at it and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go take a shot here for a quick scalp. Let's take 1,000 shares at 7. It goes right there. It goes 690, 696. I go in and hit the button for the market buy. I get in there, $7, right on the dot, $7. It goes up to 725 in 1 millisecond. I'm up $250 really quickly. In that 1 millisecond, I get greedy. I say, you know what? I think I can get a little bit more pop, maybe 760s. And right there, the spread just bottoms out and the bottom just drops. More than likely, Ross Cameron just sold to me. And he just said, well, here you go, Mitch. I'll give it to you. And I'm there looking, deer in headlights. What just happened? The stock just dropped 75 cents. Oh, crap. I'm down 750. Mitch, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. I hit the out button. The stock bounces back 50 cents. I look down. I'm down like 788 on one trade in about 2 seconds. In 2 seconds, I went from up 250 to now down 7 something. And this was all my cash. This wasn't an eval account. This was straight up my account, guys. And right there, I took the beating. It was a tough one. I threw my hat in the air and said, well, that's how it goes sometimes, man. When you're trying to play scalps of 1,000 shares, well, you're going to get caught sometimes, especially on a fast mover. So the big lesson here was, one, not playing with, like, focused on another person's play. Right? This was another person's play. And I was jumping on that based on their momentum, their emotion in the trade. Just like I tell you guys, you don't have to play what I'm playing. This is not copycat trading here, guys. This is all about showing you guys an educated approach towards trading, right? And I got caught there with my pants down. Yeah. And it was a hard one, right? A really hard one to take. Another thing was, though, if I would have waited for another second, guess what happened? Well, the stock went down $1, $1.25, $2. And by the end of the day, it was back at $3. So if I would have hung on, I literally would have owed the broker money, maybe thousands of dollars. So I'm so glad I got out of the trade, but also it was a tough trade to take, right? That's as big of a horror story as I have for you guys, because that only took 2 seconds, and it was a painful 2 seconds. All right, guys, going back to the trading action. I hope you guys enjoyed me giving you guys a little story there. Let's get back to the market. Let's take a look at what's going on here and seeing what we're seeing, right? So right now, of course, I've taken one trade to see the reversal come back, and the market's bottomed out a little bit here. You can see 1, 2, 3 attempts on the SPY, now starting to hold up a little bit here, but it's just more stopping the weakness, stopping the bleeding. And so the Qs did do that bottoming action there and then finally made the move. I take a look at the VXX, look at here, guys. Look how the VXX did, though, break down there. It just got me at the top there. So it just stopped me out, and then it dropped fast through 56, going back to 55, 60s. If I would have got that trade, right, I lost here what? I lost here about 20 cents there. But I'm there at 23s, right? If it does go into the green there for me, that's a good 60 cents on the first action. 60 cents. 500 shares, that's 300 on the green side, right? So it could have made 300 there without adding 300, risked about 100. I'm cool with that. Regardless of what happened, the results, we can't focus so much about the results. We got to focus about the process. The process approach was there, and that's all you can do. Whatever happened is what happened. Don't fight the present. Understand the present and try to continue going and playing your game, which is very important. All right, guys, smash the like for that. I hope you guys enjoyed me giving a little horror story here. Stay safe out there, guys. Stay safe out there, guys. The market can bring some horror stories. That's for sure. All right, back to the trading action. What's up out there, guys? How we doing? Michelle. Samuel, how we doing out there? All right. Root. Yeah, that one's a tough one, man. What's up with Playboy? Playboy now holding up around the 145. Got there to the 145 level. That would have been a good scalp today. PTON to 835s. Good day there for Peloton. Snapchat back towards 1255. Looks like it wants to fade, though. We'll see if this actually fades. It's looking for a day 2 move, but easily could come back to 12 today and end kind of like a trappy day, maybe inside day, right? Didn't really break through the yesterday's high, so it's going to look like kind of like a candle that's trying to approach Wednesday's high and then fails there and could come back towards like 1203, even like 1180s. So this actually looks interesting here for a fade on the downside, but that's if the market keeps fading, right? If the market gets another red action and we just get that red action to come right back into the market, well, yeah, Snap looks like an interesting fade here. Might actually look at that. Yeah, I mean, Alphabet's coming back, but it doesn't look strong. The thing about the Snap fade, though, is that it's going to expand once it breaks down at the 1220s. You have to hold on and be slow to this, and then it really will kind of expand. We'll see what happens there on Snap. Pinterest is another one that looks interesting, and you can see how that one's on the downside, too. We'll see if it reverses. Q's right back down there, and it looks like it wants to break down there. VIX bouncing off the VWAP again and could break to the upside now. So I think it's definitely been an ugly, ugly day out there, guys. Be safe out there. On a day like today, I'm not pushing it, and you guys see it. Why? Because I felt like I was playing on the wrong side of a lot of these and don't want to go ahead and get washed out. KPTI, biotech getting a little bit of a lift there. And of course, you guys know this one. This one's a known runner. So we'll see what happens if this one actually gets the spike and really lifts off there. It's spiking above the $1 now towards the 111. We'll look to see if it actually gets the lift. There's the market heading right back down, right? So getting that opportunity there for the Snapchat short. XLF looks interesting. That is really breaking down today as the banks start to break down here. Bank of America breaking down. JPM. Goldman Sachs. There's tons of banks that are starting to break here a little bit. Yesterday, the KRE was really strong. Could break down today and go right back to the low here. So I think this is also not a bad one to take a look at for a short opportunity, but there's just not big opportunities right now. If anything, I'm seeing the Qs start to come back down. Google was holding on, but now is right back at VWAP and could break down and go to the 174. Apple's right there. It came back to VWAP, looking like it wanted to recover, but we'll see what happens here. I think this is definitely a little bit of some chop now that we're playing on. It's almost 10:30 here, but not much going on in the market here, guys. We'll probably wrap up a little bit early today and probably work on some other things here, get some videos done. But looking at the action there to see if there's any recovery out there, and it just seems like we're not getting it. TNON here showing up now, starting to come back a little bit here. I've been waiting to see if this thing can go back through $4. It's tried to go back through $4 multiple times here. Now getting a little spike here. We'll look to see if this actually wants to make a move here. TNON. Wouldn't mind to make a quick play through 4 on this. Maybe make a little cash here and then get out of here. Let's see what happens, guys. There goes the VXX back towards the upside. The Qs are weak, weak, weak. AMIX back down towards 12, guys. So glad I stayed away on the AMIX. Google dropping fast. Tesla rejecting that move. So Tesla could go lower here. Tesla looks like a fade today. It's trying to hold the kind of the bull flag pattern, but could go back towards the 250s now. It just rejected that VWAP. Actually like this short here. Tesla. All right, watching the market here to give me some kind of signal, man. It just seems like it's just a lot of trap, guys. I want to even short Tesla here, and it just doesn't make sense here because the Qs could just reverse right back through it. It just seems like there's a lot of opportunities on both sides, but they're not big opportunities. They're kind of tight. Like this is only like what, maybe like a point or two down here. Then it could break down further, but we need continued breakdown of the Qs, and it's been that type of day. But we haven't seen this type of day in a little while where it just completely leaks. It's the opposite of a melt up. This is I won't say a crash, but definitely a hard downside action move. When you're not getting back to the VWAP, that's a telling sign that the weakness is in right now. And this could also be about washing out traders before you get Apple's earnings tonight. Of course, that happens all the time where you get washed out and then an earnings stock comes in tonight and flips stinks to the positive side tomorrow, but we'll see what happens here. The Q's definitely dragging. A-Tech, we'll see what happens there. I said it feels like a 100-point day in the SPX. Seems like it. Thoughts on Playboy now? We'll take a look there. ATEC. All right, not a bad one to watch. ATEC off to $7, holding in right now off the 15-minute chart. This actually looks decent off the 15-minute, which is at 750 bottoming. So I'd like to see it hold at 750s on the 9 EMA, then start to see this come back through 8. It's not a bad looking one. Decent kind of risk to return. Seeing it there. That's how I can see it here. And that's 1, 2, 3. Could get that attempt towards the 747s first. So I'm watching it here. I can see the MACD trying to cross over too, trying to show you the momentum, but right now it's just, it needs to build a little bit more before it really gets going here. TNON hanging out there at the 377s. Not really much going on there. All right, looking around here.
Well, looking around, guys, it's definitely dull. Slowed down here, that's for sure. Watching the action here, they're looking to see if anything gets going, but it's been a root type of day. The root. Get your ginger root. It's gonna get a cavity today with all these stocks and the Halloween candy. Root still hanging on there. Hanging on his root. Could start pulling back now, I feel like, after a couple of attempts to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could starting to top out a little bit here at the 112s, but nothing that I'd go shorting into, right? It doesn't look like it's breaking down. It just looks like it's slowing down. Q's just undercut that move again here. So let's see what happens in the VXX to see if it finally starts to really collapse here. The Qs are trying to make a down attempt also. It just seems to me like we got to watch to see what happens here. And a lot of times trading here is just taking bets and seeing what plays out. I'm not trying to play bets on what plays out right now. I'm actually trying to see if we can get some kind of trend reversal here, because we're just not getting it. Google now down to 176.70s. We'll look to see if it holds the 15-minute 9 EMA and recovers it, but it's going to be a tough day. It could go down to 174. Amazon pretty low now, and so is Microsoft. All right. It's one of those days, guys. Let's check the chat here. Let's see what you guys got going on. You, Obi-Wan. See the U's. The triple U. I see it. Universal Security Instruments. I have no idea what the hell this is. It's pushing strong, but it's not anything like a monster move. I'm looking, guys. I'm looking. I'm not finding much. What's Estee Slaughter up so much for? EL. Estee Slaughter got slaughtered this morning, now bouncing back. How's Ulta doing? Ulta's on the down end. Not looking good. That looks ugly, actually. That looks like a head and shoulders pattern. That looks ugly on Ulta. Q's trying to bottom out here. Soxel down big today, man. Oh, Q's, you did it to me. You put me to sleep, man. I was already sleepy. You didn't have to be sleepy today. You should have been fast moving so I could stay awake. It was a tough one last night, guys. Boys did not want to let me sleep. Oh, looked like somebody wants in. Looks like somebody wants in. What's going on, man? How we doing out there, Tim?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I'm dragging a little myself today. So we were talking all about the exciting things, and I just made it back from the mountains yesterday, so I got this cool hat.
You know how it is. Carolina. It's the Halloween Gremlins.
The Halloween Gremlins, yeah. But we got some interesting things. I've been watching Coin and Hood, obviously, off of the earnings. I can't believe they both had earnings the same day, which is kind of funny. BHC, though, one of my perennials, is popping. I'm seeing ones I'm looking at: Carvana, Disney, Amgen a little bit, and BHC. So, but yeah, of I don't say memes, but of bag holder hopium, like things with big fans. We've got the Woodside Energy. They bought Tellurian. There's a little gap up they could do. BHC, I mean, they're up in the $9. I trimmed some of my shares because I just couldn't do that. That actually reminds me of one of my horses. Walmart is pushing too. Target trying, failing. Walmart, I think, looks good. Dollar Tree continuing to just no love there, man.
Yeah, no love in the discount stores.
Yeah, but
I mean, they're not dollar stores no more, right?
$1.25 store, and they got a $5 zone.
Yeah, dude. $1.25 store, $1.50. You're gonna have to change their names.
Yeah, I mean, at least Dollar Tree is it's a generic enough. I don't begrudge them the $1.25. I mean, it's on the edge of what I would be irritated with, but yeah, I sort of shorted Coinbase at like the bottom here. This little bear flag. I'm guessing we have more down to go, but
all right, guys, I'm gonna take a shot here on Google, and that's it. It's like Google or nothing. That's the only positive I see in the market, and it's trying to do a little MACD crossover here, give us a little signal off of 176.
BHC has news, or what's going on here? Why is BHC up $1? And go figure, we were talking about this, and you were saying like nothing much going on. The second I'm not looking at the screen, one of those perennial names picks up. Did I ever tell you? So, yeah, on the trading horror stories, swinging too. Did I ever tell you my bio-nanogenomics story?
No. Let us know. Let us know.
So this was. So they have the. It's not a long read. It's like whole genome scanning, I believe, is the thing. So basically, you can quickly scan a entire genome. You can look for anomalies, things like that, and really neat technology. Was there for a while, so it was kind of funny. Kathy Wood and her team just passed on it. They're like, yeah, nothing there. But yeah, I was watching that one for a while. As there always are. There's a community of people that are like, oh, any day now. And it was one of those that every single day, or every time there was a little news pop, it would just get up, and then it would just sort of dribble back down. So it was in the like 50 to 75 cent range, or like 35 to 75 cent, get close to $1 and drop down. I don't remember exactly, but I was looking at it, and this was time earlier when I was just going through some financial stuff, right? So I had limited amount of capital. Now this was capital that I'd kind of set aside for trading, but because I was determined to just make trading work as a lifestyle somehow. But it just was not really doing much. Every time it would go up and come back down. So I started saying, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start just trading around this core position here. I'm going to sell the tops of these ranges and buy the bottoms. And then I was also trying to switch brokers, and I wanted to move the cash over. So there was a conference, I think, and they had like a little announcement, and it popped right up, right? To like $1 or something like that. And then it sort of hung out there, and I said, okay, I'm going to sell this. And then, you know what? I'm going to just transfer the funds over to the other broker anyway. And then I'm going to buy again at the bottom and then go from there. We're talking, forget how many shares, but it was like a few $100 at most, right? Because that was just the situation. Well, of course, the next day, I have to admire however they did their PR strategy, because that week, just every day they had a new PR, and it just kept popping again and again and again. So like the second I sold, right? And of course, then the cash was unsettled and everything else. So it just started ripping. And I think it went up to like $30 in the space of a few weeks, something like it was crazy. And there I was on the side. Luckily, I had some in an IRA and some elsewhere, but I had some warrants too. But that really hurt. And that's a case where, right, if I had traded the pool at the time, it would have been great, because that would have been, not my personal capital. It wouldn't have been tying up things to that extent, and I could have just let that conviction play out, because it wasn't like there were a lot of pullbacks either, right? It was just, man, that was crazy. That was a crazy ride though, and I can't believe how much they dropped since then. But they had some news actually today. Definitive agreement with institutional investors for the purchase of 9.8 million shares of stock and warrants to purchase another 9.8 million. Combined price of 0.3. Yeah, so 31 cents per share and warrant. So yeah, they're back down to the same price. I don't know if they split ever, but let's see what they're at lately. Oh, yep. They were at 34, and of course now they're down to about 30 cents today on that news. Go figure.
Qs look like they want another leg lower here, guys. Probably going to get hit here. I'll be about $80, only risking about $80 here. We'll try to stay at least 200 in the green today. Doing really good for the week, right? I mean, overall, not a bad week. Counts right now about 1,500 up for the week. And so I don't want to be pushing too much here. I just want to keep trying to see if I get that reversal because it could be some good upside there. But we'll see what happens. It's all on the Qs, right? If it's going to keep going lower, well, guess what? You got the leak all day here. And we'll see what happens now if it starts to reverse back here. But like always, it's a tough trade today, especially with the way that the market's kind of trading. And it still hasn't even come back to VWAP. So even just a test to VWAP would be a good sign for the bulls.
Oh, man. Iftikhar, I saw that on ARM, right? I was actually looking. I'm wearing my NVIDIA shirt today. Because I was thinking semis would maybe reclaim here. It looked like they were trying to. AMD looking the best of NVIDIA, AMD, ARM, TSM. But yeah, my favorite ARM is just it's not looking too hot today. Mitch, we had a question. Is that I don't know if you answered. Is that stochastics on the bottom of yours, or that's MACD, right? Just without the histogram, but you got the.
I always got them there. They're just I just kind of shortened them down. You keep one on. What I just hate is I look at sometimes trader screens and then I see this, and then this kind of just it's really hard to like understand anything, right? If I did this to you guys,
yeah.
The 4 indicators just on the screen there and just kind of taking over. I mean, that doesn't really help anybody, right? So at this point, I mean, it just goes to show you guys. I mean, I use these, but I use them for confirmation, not necessarily for entry, right? I think that's so important here, guys. I just got an ad on Google, so now I got to really pay attention to Google. Just got an ad for the breakout on Google, so it just got to pay attention to it now because the Qs are coming down, but the Google's coming up.
Yeah, man, crypto too. I tried a crypto short last night early, and I got shook out on that little pop right at like 6:30, and then down we go.
400 shares of Google isn't small by any means necessary here, guys. So I'm focusing in, trying to see it hold 176, maybe 175.90s, nothing lower than that. That would be about $68 to $70 of risk right now. So let's see if it can hold the 176 pullback here. Really, that's what I'm looking for. I'm watching the Qs to see if we can get a quick spike here back. And that will help my Google. Google's kind of leading the action back, even though the reason why it's leading is that it's doing a little bit better. The relative weakness isn't as weak as some other names that are kind of completely below the VWAP and extended away. So now I'm looking to see if Google can lead the action here and the Qs kind of follow.
All right. Now I am going to try, let's see how ARM's actually looking once I dig in here, but there goes Robinhood. Down, down, down. Not so hot. Guess there's always more downside to be had.
Yeah, especially with the market like the way you are right now in the Qs. So
we got a Halloween bear market. I was posting images of spooky bear market scenes in the chat. It was great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try. Sure. So I'm going to actually get a little brave. I'm going to try shorting the bottom here, and this is an ultimate account, but I have had a little bit of bad luck earlier this month, so I'm going to play it careful, not try to YOLO it into the ground. So I'm going to do, let's see how much room I actually have here. What's this? Yeah, I don't want to do more than in fact, I'm going to just be extra careful. Do like 30 shares. And
in the washout attempt on Google, guys, I might get cut here. So I just wanted to go ahead and stop.
But what I'm going to do here is, I shorted ARM, but I'm going to buy a little Soxel just as a hedge here. And this is something we can do. We talked about this before, but this way, if it does suddenly, bounce off the bottom here, right, then I'll be hedged. And I don't want this to be taken up. I don't want it to basically be equivalent because then I get no gains, right? If they just keep canceling each other out. But that can take the sting out of it, and especially on an overnight trade, you can't really use the stops. You're stuck using the hedges, and so to me, I usually aim for like between 10 to 30% maybe of the to mitigate whatever loss that it is. But you can tune that as you like. What's your feeling on that?
For hedging and mitigating, I think the biggest thing that I like to do, and I've done it here in Baba right now, you guys will see it deep in the red here on the swing and right on the screen there, 473, right? What this would be a lot more if I didn't do what I did, which was when the stock came back to my pricing. And I think this is so important for traders out there to kind of think of, is that when I'm on a swing trade, right? What swing trades are is all about a timing mechanism, right? And so a lot of times you're going to have times where you start in the red and then all the stock starts to come back to you, and then you start getting into the green in the position. At that point, I got to consider, if I went red, too far red, or what I think is too far red, how about just size down on the position, let the position work here, right? Because you're still trying to see it in the green, right? I mean, it's in the green here for a reason. You're thinking that it's going to continue in the green, but at this point, it's all about what? Capital preservation. So when I come back to this, I want to sell some of it. Maybe it's half the portion size, right? Half the position size. Let's just make it easy. If the position size was here 340, right? I can sell 170 of it, and then that way I can go ahead and add that shares back if I feel like the position's starting to work for real. Like maybe a lot of times what happens is that you start in a position in a swing in the red, right? You got in, you're getting hit some. Then you wake up the next day and it's gapped up in the green. At that point, I'm going to go ahead and cut down a little bit because I felt like yesterday it was a little bit too much risk, taking some of that off and taking some green. But the main thing, giving yourself sizing to add on pullback. So then what I'm going to do there is establish, hey, if this does pull back to a certain level, where would I add, right? And then that's the levels that I'm looking at right now on Baba. I'm looking at what? The 96. That's where I would add, right? And we're getting near that level. And I'll go ahead and add that shares back and give myself the ability to try to get around some of that and improve my average. Of course, you always got to get yourself a final risk to understand where you're going to risk at. But that's the thing that I say that can really help you in swing trade is when the stocks come back to you, understand what you're fully going to risk here, what you're willing to risk, and what's your pain, right? That's the important thing. This would be closer to 1,000, right? And that's not what I want to do here. I want to risk closer towards 500 and 600 and make 1,500 on the swing trades. So we'll see what happens today. But yeah, that's so important to me. I think that's one of the best ways that you can kind of protect yourself. Just cutting some of it as it comes back. The same thing for like a big penny stock. Sometimes we get caught in the big penny stock, right? We went big. It went to a risk that was too much. But when the stock comes back to me, do I want to be greedy and look for the big breakout? No, a lot of times I want to manage it and just size down, right? Just size down will put a little less risk if it comes right back to that level, right? Yep. And so this is the same thing that you can do in day trading. A lot of times what you can do in day trading, you can do in swing trading. You just need to adjust there, right? And figure out ways to go about it, right? So let's say how you can maybe hedge a swing trade with a day trade, right? So let's say you're swing trading, let's just say a tech name today, right? You were swing trading Apple or something like that, right? So Apple's down big, right? Apple's down on the day. You're seeing it down and getting hit. You thought this was coming back to 235 and you're seeing the downside. Well, in the day trading side, there's nothing wrong with going ahead and shorting Apple, or maybe just going at like a SOX S or a short on the Qs to hedge that, right? So then that way you're making money as the Qs come down here, and then you can use that cash once you cash it in to maybe reassess your Apple position if you want to add that position, that money that you made back into Apple, or risk more by using that cushion that you just made on the short side of things. You can also leave these positions on to see which one works out in the bigger favor, right? Because the Qs could essentially make you more money than the Apple loses. And then you could cut both positions and be net neutral, right? Things like that.
And
right?
I was going to,
go ahead.
I was going to throw in actually, but I was just going to say that's one of the differences between the day and the swing trading, right? So I actually sized my, depending how you look at it, but I would say I sized my Soxel here. If I can put that up.
I got you. I'll get you up here.
So I went, I just shorted 30 shares of coin. of ARM, excuse me, off of here, and that's fine. That's actually going. But then we started getting a little bit of a catch, and I did 150 shares of Soxal because it is levered, but the size and the amount it moves relative to like ARM is much less. Well, that came down. I was down like $50 on there, and I was up only like 12.75 on ARM. But for a day trade, what you can do there, right, is I can also, if I have a stop loss on my hedge, right, then basically what I'm looking through here, I'm like, okay, is it just like a fluke reclaim this level? I'm not thinking so, but just in case, right? So if by some fluke chance it reclaims this level, it pops up, and my risk on ARM is like $100. This would pop back up, and then if it rips, then I'd get potentially quite a bit, but it could get me up to here. It hedge it nicely, right? But if it falls through, I can say, okay, you know what? This stop loss can fill on Soxal. I'll be out of Soxal, and then I'll just go in on Hood more closely. I'll look at it, or not Hood, ARM. Maybe I would put in a trailing stop there. In fact, I might do that with partial trailing stops right here. And in that way, I can just let one just blow up and the other keep going. Well, overnight, it's a little bit different because your stop loss won't fill until the next morning. So if you get a big gap, especially if you get a gap and then it reverses back in the direction you thought, or in the direction in favor of your hedge, that can be unfortunate. So you got to think of that dynamic also when you are sizing. And so sometimes with those hedges, it's worth not, for swing trades, it's worth not putting the stop loss in, and just keeping an eye on it as soon as you get that pre-open and then the open, and that way you can they'll keep canceling each other out until you decide more closely what to do. But it all depends on the sizes relative to each other and the size of your account.
I wonder how Bitcoin's doing today, because CleanSpark is just wiped out all those bulls.
Yeah, it's not doing so hot here.
CleanSpark wiped out all the bulls since the 14th, and so that's an important thing to catch sometimes, guys. I look at things like that. Right?
I'm like, the 4-hour chart, we're coming down to this super trend line, and these Bollingers or Keltners, but anyway, Ethereum's down below. We could get another 2,000 points or 1,500 on Bitcoin, another 40 on Ethereum. Or on Ether, and then maybe see some support. But here's a 1-hour chart. Yeah, so far I don't see any catch yet.
DJT also falling like a tank today, and this is exactly what I was worried about with DJT, and it just goes up.
But he was so stylish in his garbage truck vest and his.
I know, right? I mean, like, come on, like that's the day that it should go more, right? And it should be back at 54, right? I mean, no, this is literally like just throwing a rock in the sky and trying to catch it every time. And it's just too hard, guys. The way that it trades is not necessarily pattern-like. And so that's the hard part with DJT. It does a lot of traps too out the gates. Today, same thing. Look at the trap setup, right? So like rule of 3, even for me, if I'm just looking at this, I'm not looking at what happened. I'm looking at the pre-market setup. This is as bullish as it gets going into the setup. So I'll show you guys it right now on the screen. Look at the DJT setup. This looked good this morning, right? And look at the crappy open, man. That's a wick trying to trap you right there, trying to say, oh, you wanted to buy 44s. Well, guess what? You didn't even get there. That's exactly what it did. It went 43.80s. It was going up. And it probably even showed on the offer there closer towards the 90s, getting really close to that. And then not even trading a single cent there, just showing the offer there. And no one took it. And it just, boom, bid down through 43, down to 42, down to 41. If you don't get out, this is how you get runned over. This is how the Trump is the one laughing out there on this one. He's the one getting the laugh. He's the one out there just like,
When does his lockup expire? I thought he was saying he was going to keep it, or maybe I'm thinking of Musk there. I don't know.
No, it already did expire. So he did keep it, but some other people sold.
So far.
It was a little bit of back and forth, right? He could sell after the election, right? I mean,
yeah, and you think about it too, right? He's that's sort of a hedge for him. Like he's sort of hedging on multiple levels because number one, it's worth it to him to keep it in there just to show like faith in his own brand going into the election. So if he takes a loss on that and wins the election, probably a win, right? But I got a horror story on that one too. On a swing trading horror story on DJT and Rumble. But real quick, we've got a question from Steph here.
Let's take a look at it.
Hey guys, when a trader knows some strategies and how to manage risk, would you say trading? Now, Steph, are you saying that is like a prerequisite for the question, or more like, are you talking like about when a trader is knowledgeable versus not knowledgeable, or just in general? But the question is, would you say trading is more about what not to do versus what to do? And then we've actually got I guess she was wanting to see if we can look at her stats here. So
yeah,
what do you think? Is it more about what to do or what not to do?
So I think the question there is more about your level of trading, right? I would say that when you first start trading, and I talk about this all the time, right? And you guys will know and hear this, right? I talk about trading in levels, right? The first level is survivor level, because there's really a level before that, but no one likes to talk about that. That's the straight losing level. And there's a lot of traders out there, trust me, that are just in that camp. All they do is lose. It seems like literally like you could just be like, oh, I want to go long this and flip that thinking, and you'd probably do good. That's when you're in that losing stage. And it's an ugly stage for all of us that are going through that. And if you're in that, I'm not saying it to make fun of you. I'm saying it so that you can get out of that stage, right? So you don't become that trader. And then you move into the survivor stage. The survivor stage is more what not to do. That's what I think. Survivor trading is what? Break-even trading, right? Where you can trade, you can make some money, you can lose some money. Make it, lose, make it, lose, make it, lose. And you stay around the break-even stage, right? You're not blowing these accounts, but you're also not making these funded, right? And so those are things to think about, right? And so that's the survivor stage. Then you move into the slim profits, where you can make money, but you're probably just buying lunch, right? You're not, life-changing money. You maybe could make a couple $100, right? That's not going to change anything for anybody, right? Let's just be honest. Then you'll get into what I call the thriving stage. And that's more what to do than what not to do. Because at that point, you should know what not to do, right? Now you need to know what to do and put on these strategies with size, which is hard. I'll tell you guys, as a trader that's traded for years, I'm still learning it, still trying to find ways to size up and deal with that. Because in a small sizing, yeah, I can do that all day, but I'm going to stay in what? Not the thriving stage. I'd stay in the slim profit stage. That's not what I'm here for either, right? I'm here to try to make that step up, try to improve my process, and for you guys to learn about that, hopefully doing the same. Right? So that's what I would say to look into this. And you did put up some statistics, and you need to think about a couple of things, right? So with these statistics, what I would be thinking about is, and you guys saw it, I was 36% accurate and deep into the green. Why? That's a lot of profit to loss ratio mentality. I won't let that ruin, even though I did, and you guys, I showed it to you guys, largest loss 1,000. That ruined some of my math. Right? I could be closer towards 3-1 and 4-1 if I didn't have that big loss. So a lot of it is more probability thinking and understanding, hey, so how much accuracy am I really on average, right? I think that's what you need to be asking yourself. In your numbers right here with 230 trades, that's not a small sample size. That's a large sample size. And so I would say that on average, you're probably looking to be around 60 to 70% accurate. So how can I adjust my profit to loss ratio to match that and get the results that I'm looking for? Right? That's what you need to be thinking about, right? So is it $100 loss? Is it 200? What do you need to make on the upside with a 70% accuracy rate, right? So if you're 50% accurate and you're looking at a 2-to-1 process, right? So you're going to make $2 for every dollar that you lose. You would need to be 50% accurate to be break even. So you need to be higher than 50% to be in the green. And if you want to be deep into the green, you're going to need to be even further away from that 50%, closer to 70, 80%, right? And so those are the things that I think about. That's why I push myself to a 3-to-1 and sometimes even 4 and 5-to-1 on these bigger size trades, because then I only need to be 30, 40% accurate to be into the green. And if I'm 50% accurate or even 60% accurate, then we're cashing, baby, and we're making lots of money. And so in my mentality right there, it also takes a lot of stress off of me, knowing that I only need to be 30 to 40% accurate. So I need to be better than a coin flip. Okay, let's do it. Let's go battle. But some traders need to be a little bit bigger. And because of the percentages and the profit to loss ratio that they're sticking to, there's some traders that do 1-to-1 trades. And at that point, you need to be closer towards 80, 90% accurate to really make cash, guys. And so these are all things that you need to be thinking about. Tim, I'm sure you've thought about these plenty of times and trying to find a balance. That's the important thing. It's something that works for you and might not work for the guy to the left, or it might not work for Tim. What can work for Tim might not work for me. That I'm not saying that because it's so subjective, but it is. It's more about understanding the math and subjectiveness to your personality.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, that's what it's all about in capital preservation number 1, right? And so that's the thing that you need to be thinking about. What's that sweet spot between the size up and the size down, right? I don't want to be so small where I can't make a single dollar, but I also don't want to be so big where I lose all the money in one trade, right? So find that balance, find what works for you. That's what's going to get you to the next level. All right, let's go ahead. Let's wrap it up here. Any last comments, Tim? For me, I'm wrapping it up here, guys. VXX was the play to the upside today. Did not play it. And a lot of that was maybe watching out the gates for a little bit of some up action. And it was just quick upside. I mean, look at the VIX now. You guys know I play this towards 1,000 to 1,500, maybe even 2,000 shares. Look where it's at. It opened up at 55. It's at 57. What's the potential reward there? There's massive reward there. And I think that's the play that I should have been on today. That's $1,000, $2,000 winner. And of course, like always, you're going to have some risk. You're going to be able to play this. I did even short this and still stuck to a smaller risk. That's the important thing too, right? So find what math works for you, how you can go ahead and get to that next level. Seeing some comments in the chat. Anything you want to wrap up with, Tim?
Yeah, I just say first, just to close that little discussion. And yeah, Valerie, yeah, so many different ways to trade. And you got to find what works for you. Of course, Valerie just passed her eval, so she's figured out her gotten on a roll. So congrats again.
Yeah.
But yeah, to Steph's point, right? You were up to 1450, now down. That's 550. Now is that your? Yeah, that's a trade the pool account, right? So that's 1450 positive to now down to 550 due to big losses. And, you know, maybe you tune those big losses, but I would just say also, like, don't be too hard on yourself, because you know what? You're still in the green. And you know what? If you get to the end and you have to extend it, by the way, check the Discord. We've got some news. Well, I'll post it there, but we are happy to share that the limited edition account, you will be able to purchase it until the end of this year, for sure.
Hey,
so
get it, guys, get it.
Yeah. And so you know, and possibly for extending it, there might be different you know, even more things, but you'll be grandfathered in if you have the limited edition, especially the funded. But yeah, you know, if you get to the end of your trading period on that and you say, oh, you know what, I'm only this far along, now I have to pay again. Well, guess what? That's better than having blown it up and having to pay to start from scratch, right? In a personal account, right? If you have your capital and you're growing it more slowly, but you still have it, right? That's so much better than losing it all and having nothing to work with, right? So just focus on that. If all you're giving up is profits, you know, like, you don't want to be careless and say, well, it's house money, but at the same time, you know, average it out and look at it and say, hey, I'm still up over time. And just focus on that, right? And we'll talk about that more. We have a big day planned to continue the theme.
And we're
I will
getting a
share
rally
in the
now.
Discord. We'll get on the roundtable right after lunch. I will share that DJT horror story, and we can dig into that. And yeah, just talk more about the risk management and those trading style things too. You know, maybe we'll just even pull up some charts. Because one thing we'll do some TA on P&L too, because that's something that you know, people meme about it, but I think you can do it for real. I think you can look at it. I think there's those same trends and events that you can look out for in a chart, and you can look out for it in your own trading, and you can use that to strengthen your progress over time. So that's all I have. But what a great time! What an interesting day, and yeah, great to be on as always. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to be on, guys. I am seeing the market start to do a little bit of a reversal, guys, and you guys know how it is. If I stay here, I will be trading, so I'm going to get on out of here, guys.
Let yourself get a little sleep, Mitch. So.
Yeah, I need some sleep too, and that's the other thing too. Understand where you are in your execution and how you're executing is important. When you're on fire, you're sometimes in the zone. Keep it going. That's what I mean by gas pedal. Sometimes you're going to feel in the zone. Sometimes you're going to feel not. Where do I get this from? Mark Douglas, of course, guys. Check out, of course, Trading in the Zone. If you guys haven't checked out that book, that's what I tell you to do today. Stop trading. Go check out Trading in the Zone, because it's the best trading book that there's ever been. I'm going to say it like that.
One other thing.
Eyes, at least,
is yeah, no, that's I hear that from so many people. It's for sure.
I'm telling you,
one other good one that we are doing our book club. I'm sure you can find this book online, or you know, get it from the library, or buy it, or you know, whatever. Audiobooks. Market Wizards. We are going through that in our book club on Tuesday evenings. We just read a chapter each week on our own. We get together, we discuss it. But that talks about those individual trading styles. You know, it talks about different traders, and you've got people that got their start in, you know, egg futures or broiler hens, I think it was. Joe will have to get me back up to speed on that. Where you have people who started in commodities or in stocks or in futures. Some of them just had a really great knack for it, and we're just honing it over time. Some of them had some really big losses, had to restart their career a few times, reinvent themselves, you know? And so it's great hearing about all these different people and how, you know, in the end, the common factor is they all had that success. And what they did was, you know, they figured out their niche, and they figured out how to then improve on, you know, improve on what they're good at, sometimes to fix their shortcomings, sometimes just to figure out how to, you know, focus on what they're good at and step away from the things they're not so good at, you know? So really great book. I encourage you all to read it. And yeah, if you're reading it, join us for the book club. It'll be a lot of fun.
Love to see it, guys. And we'll see you guys back tomorrow. Like always, smash the like and stay safe out there in Halloween. I know they get crazy out there, and you guys know it. Watch out with those werewolves tonight. It'll be out there. I don't know. It's a full moon. If it is, I'm staying inside. But yeah, have fun for Halloween, guys. Stay safe, guys. We'll see you guys back tomorrow, of course. And like always, guys, we'll see what happens in the market. There's always flips. And one thing for sure, you got a big boy tonight, Apple, right? That contains everything by tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Smash the like. Like always, catch up with Tim in the Discord. He'll be doing some charts later. It looks like Steph will be there. The only question is, will you? Get over to that Discord. I'll make sure that we throw up a link if you're not already joined in the chat. But like always, guys, smash the like. It's always good to see you guys. And always keep up with Tim. Keep up with me right here on the show, right? There's so much more for you guys on Trade the Pool. We're always here to help you continue growing on your journey, showing you guys some transparency today into some horror stories. So if you didn't catch those, definitely rewind that. I even told my horror story about a 2-second trade that cost me $750 of my real capital in my pocket, right? So, hey, might be better to play some of these evals. So we'll see what happens, guys. Smash the like. We'll be back tomorrow.